Welcome, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, to the My Mom Has Tourette's podcast, brought to you by Dollar Shave. No, that's a lie. I lied to you. We're not sponsored. I'm your host, Nathan.
I'm Josh.
I'm Andrew.
And I am Nathan. And I do want to say before we started, one day long ago, when she was young, one of our mothers had her front two teeth knocked out by a glass bottle wielded by her brother.
Whoa, jeez.
Absolutely
That's
horrific.
Ridiculous. It's
And
also
it
physical
explains a
harassment,
lot about
and
one
he
of
should have
us.
went to jail.
Wow.
Yeah, right? It's messed up. Boys, it's been a little bit. How we doing?
It has.
That's
been
assault,
a long
brother.
time.
That's a pepper, brother.
The garlic.
That's a garlic. It's a garlic. It's a garlic.
It's
Let me
Mom.
try.
Boop, 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 boop.
I'm not mentally here. I don't
I'm
get, if that's a
mentally
reference, I
retarded.
don't get it.
Bluey. Da, 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 da.
I don't listen. I don't have kids yet. All right.
Mom.
I don't know Bluey.
Neither do I, but I watched it.
Dad.
It was
Grandma.
it was on in the background when I was visiting my niece and nephew one day, and I just kept watching it after
That's
I went back home.
hilarious.
So
That's hilarious.
it's a solid show.
So we're
Hey,
doing a
that
quick
dad-
corner. We're doing a quick
that
ratings
dad
corner
works like
before
a
we rate
dog.
the game. We're gonna rate
Mhm.
Bluey. Andrew, what do you think of Bluey? Scale of 1 to 10.
Bluey is a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. I mean, I'm
Very
being
good show.
serious. Like as a show, like
Oh,
legitimately
absolutely. As a show,
as
it's
an
got
adult,
the core
because it's a show.
values.
Okay, it's a
Yeah.
show aimed at kids.
It's-
So
Yeah, it's got great core values. Like none of the kids are like openly like super disrespectful to like their parents or doing anything like really wrong. The parents are super like relatable to a parent. It ticks all the boxes for kids and parents, and it's wonderful.
well, it's a parent. That's a great show, and I'm gonna have to start watching it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that dad works like a dog.
I see what you.
Wow. Yeah, I'm disappointing everybody. I'm letting the disappointment set in before I do it. Are you disappointed yet?
No, I thought it was pretty good. I came up myself.
So how were your months?
They've been good.
Wow.
Happy
Make it-
birthday,
yeah.
Andrew.
Woo! It was just like not definitely 3 weeks ago.
Andrew, you're what, 32,
Birthday 3 weeks
33?
ago.
I'm one of those ages
He's
with numbers. Yeah,
Young guy.
Did you say
I'm the oldest
yeast?
here. Yeast.
Yeast, skirt, yeast.
Oh my god.
That one's been a while. That's been a while. That was
It
like
has.
episode
I would just like-
All back to the OG episodes.
Mhm.
Everybody to know that Andrew was born March 26th, 1991.
Yep. So do math, kids. Do math. And
And
while I'm at it, my social is 157. No, I'm just kidding.
I just realized the episode wasn't full screen all this time, so I'll just kind of have it zoomed in. Now
and
it's
I would
full
like
screen.
to give
I
a
don't know
big
what happened.
congratulations.
I don't know what
'cause
happened. What's
Andrew's
Say
in a
what now?
relationship.
Oh yeah. I
Oh
heard about
well,
that,
yeah, that's
apparently.
fine. It's going
Well, just
decently swell.
doxing
Pretty
him,
good.
I guess, in all these different ways. His birthday,
Yeah.
his relationship.
He's
that's pretty
really
cool.
there's someone out there. It's probably our one subscriber who is just stalking me, and
Writing
they
notes like
really
that,
are trying to
Andrew.
find information. Because
26th.
when you look up my name, you won't find anything. But
Well, Josh's
you know, March
birthday is July
26th.
21st or something. So
Nope.
it was close. It was close, right? It was close.
Nope.
I hate you. 9th.
No.
Okay, well, it's July.
Thank you.
My month was
Thank
all
you.
right. I don't know what happened. Nothing happened. Just kidding. I've been really busy. I've been working my job
How
and then
busy?
coming home and doing very busy.
Really
I've been
busy.
just doing lots of editing, coming home, and then just going to bed
Andrew's
a lot of times.
Nathan's birthday is October
At least-
2nd.
Last week, that's not true. At least last week and this week. Well, no. Yeah, this last week. This is a
oh, I
Sunday,
thought
though,
you were
so
like,
this is
oh
the
yeah,
start of the
that
week.
is my birthday.
Yeah, it is my birthday now. So I've been not doing a lot, but
Don't lie to me.
we did
Or
go
your
to.
viewers.
When did we go to Chattanooga?
Last
Chattanooga.
weekend.
Was that 3 weekends ago? Oh,
Last weekend.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you had earbuds in. When did we go to Chattanooga?
Last weekend.
Chattanooga. It's gonna be 3 weeks.
Okay, it
ago.
was 2 weekends ago. My wife and I took a little trip to Chattanooga, and we revisited all our famous haunts. And
Your old Chattanooga's friends.
yep. We
Chat-
didn't
That
have any.
place is so
friends.
scrumptious.
Well, she did
It
'cause
should
she
be
was a
called
teacher.
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
That sounds lovely. All the names down
That's a
there are
candy
great.
bar.
They're all like Native
We should
American
capitalize
names,
on the candy.
like
Let's make a
Chickamauga.
candy bar
and-
called it Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
The Chattanooga Chattanoogats. That's hard to say.
Yeah, that's a great sports team's name. We're the Nougats.
We're the Chattanoogats. All right, that's awesome. No, it was great. We went to
Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the.
Josh, are you okay? Is now the time for this?
Well, you said you went down there, so just this kind of.
Oh, close enough. Yeah, I guess that justifies everything. So we went to a lovely restaurant. Shout out Tupelo Honey. It's a great time. Delicious
Two
food.
below honey, like -2 below, or
He was saying shout out to, comma, below honey.
Pello. Tupelo.
Oh,
honey.
Hello?
I was wrong. I'm dumb.
Yeah, we were both lost. We're
all a
playing
little dumb.
baseball
It's
over
okay.
here.
You know, I respect that. However, it was good.
Oh.
It was delicious. I went to like one of the best gaming like local card stores or local game
Well,
stores.
can we not just drive past the restaurant without stopping? Like, what did you have to eat?
Well, that's a lot of. Do we need to go that deep into
Well,
it?
I mean,
All right,
you're
listen.
taking time to shout out a restaurant. Like, throw
Bro,
out some good
if
dishes.
Josh is giving out my birthday and social security, you can tell us what you had to eat.
I give out Nathan's birthday, but he just doesn't want to admit that it's his actual birthday.
I'm gonna tell you what I ate. Chill the heck out.
It was so good, he wrote it down.
It was so good though. I'm telling you. It was so
He
good.
ate at Pillow Honey.
Pillow honey.
Tupelo. It's not pillow. It's pillow.
Tupelo.
Oh my
Two
god.
pillow honey.
We can't
I'm
be
still
friends.
lost on the name.
What is it like?
We
You're
can't be
getting so
friends.
fat eating there, you need to go to sleep, so they provide you
Yes,
pillows? Like,
exactly.
what's the deal?
That's how it happens.
dope.
That's their whole
What
shit.
if you
I'm making that a
drool?
restaurant.
Do they have to pay? Like, do you have to pay to wash the pillow? Because I drool when I sleep. Man, them
So-
could be
Good
some
point.
gross pillows. You know how pillows turn yellow after you slobber on them too much? You imagine what
No.
the pillows look like?
I don't, Josh. Why don't
Some
you
people
explain
wash
more?
their pillow sheets.
Yeah, but you can't wash the pillow.
I want to just talk about for a second how Nathan just called them pillow sheets and not pillowcases because he's an
I
android.
thought about
What's
that.
up with that?
But just like you
Pillow
went to with the
sheets.
restaurant, I thought we'd just drive right by it.
Listen, we know one of us is an android, and it's Nathan now.
I forget words a lot.
Okay,
Nathan's
so
secretly a bird.
March 30th, 2024. The appetizers were biscuits for a cause. It was 2 delicious biscuits with honey and freaking other stuff like it was honey and but some kind of butter and stuff on it. It was delicious. It was great.
Butter.
And I got Asheville hot fried chicken with mac and cheese waffles. Yes.
I have a question.
Andrew.
You said yes. You said they were biscuits for a cause.
Apparently,
Was
part
is
of
this
when
my?
you buy them,
Yeah,
part of
okay.
them go to like a donation. Like I don't remember I don't know what they're doing, but it's good stuff.
Remember
I really-
those challenge
yeah.
children.
I really wasn't sure if that was just like a Southern thing, like a new expression I don't know, or if it was actually for a cause. So
For a cause. For a cause.
Dope.
No, yeah, it was for a cause. What
For
that cause
fat
was,
cows.
it's evading me.
of course.
So yeah, I got Asheville hot fried chicken with mac and cheese waffles, and it was actually ridiculously
Yum.
good. Like it was so
Yum.
good. Oh, I can't be talking about stuff like that. You can't eat stuff like that anymore, huh?
Doesn't mean you
Wow.
can't talk about it. I
Wait,
gotta
you're
live
just
vicariously through
bullying
you
him.
guys.
Well,
Yeah, like in the movie
no.
Dodgeball when he's like talking dirty to the pizza and the donut.
Yeah,
Dog, I haven't
know
seen
what
that
you're
movie in
talking
so long. Anyway, can we stop talking about what I ate like weeks ago? And
All right, what
Um,
did Bailey eat?
listen, I don't. I have it written down, but I'm not going to tell you. That's not up to me.
Ooh.
However, we did go
The
to
butter
the.
one.
R.I.P.
We went
Bailey's
to
food
the
choice.
Chattanooga. It's called the Tennessee Aquarium, but it's like it's in Chattanooga, and it's like the best aquarium. I've only ever been to one other aquarium, but it's the best aquarium out there. I've just heard good things about it, and we've been there 3 or probably 4 times now. I don't remember, but we
Ooh.
got a yearly pass, so we made it like worth it. And they have like an ocean side and a river side, and they have like it's huge. Like there's a lot to go through. Like we were kind of moving a little bit fast through it this time because we had other things to do during the day, and it still took us 2 hours. So It's pretty cool though. If you ever down that way and you are interested in interesting aquariums, that's a good one. So,
Question for all of us.
Raise your hand. For Andrew, we raise our hands in this classroom. Yes, Andrew.
So would you consider ducks to be part of an aquarium, or
There
should
were
they
ducks.
be? There were? Okay.
Well, there were otters and there were penguins.
That's like a weird hybrid animal, you know?
Yeah, the vast majority were fish, but they're like when you go to the very top, which is the beginning of it, you kind of work your way down. There's on both sides, there's like less fishy kind of animals. They had alligators, which is so cool. I got the coolest pictures of them. Actually, you know what?
Would you consider because like there's certain things like I wouldn't expect to see a hippo at an aquarium, but they kind of belong.
I mean, that'd be kind of awesome, but they didn't have any hippos. They had some cool alligators. This time there was an alligator with its leg draped over a turtle, and the turtle was stuck, and it was fantastic. I took a picture of it.
Poor guy. That's horrible.
Wow.
Anyway, we had a good time. Apart from that, I went to a local game store there. Yeah, it's animal torture. That's what aquariums are for.
Sick.
Like a local game store. It's one of the best I've been to, specifically because I like the Pokemon TCG, specifically collecting unique ones, and they have a thing where you can go through all of their bulk cards people have sold to them, and you can like just fill a box for $10, that sort of thing. I love that crap because it's just great because I can go through and pick out ones I know I don't have and stuff like that. Apart from that, I mean, at least I had something to talk about this time. But
that's good.
I mean, I'm sure we've done other stuff. We went to Pennsylvania
Andrew,
for Easter and visited family. That was fun.
Nice.
Andrew, how was your month?
We're in Pennsylvania, and
you were too far away. You left the Washington area.
Yeah, Nathan tried to invite me, but I was sleeping. He called me, and I was like, I heard it ring, and I was like, I can't see who it is. They must not be important. And I went back to bed.
That's funny.
It was actually important. Go figure.
It wasn't that important.
Yeah, my month wasn't too shabby. I don't know. I mean, did a lot for Easter. I mean, I didn't like do a whole lot, but like church-wise, we did a lot of stuff. I basically had my own rage room twice in the past month, which was fun. We were cleaning out the church and the ministry center on the property. We had to get rid of some like really old furniture and like steel cabinets, some really old wooden desks that wouldn't fit in the dumpster. And while we were cleaning out, I found a sledgehammer and I said, "Hey guys, this will fit in the dumpster now." And I broke down like 5 pieces of furniture, and then I broke down more yesterday, which was a grand time. And
awesome.
it felt great having 2 older gentlemen watch me and just kind of like cheer me on. And they're like, "Oh, hit it over here! It'll break really cool." And it was a good time.
Good.
Yeah. Shout out to the architects of destruction over there. You 2 know who you are. That don't watch this podcast.
Listening.
So
yep.
yeah, for sure. I'll force them to. I'll send it to their phones, and they won't know what to do, and they'll accidentally open it, and it won't stop playing.
Yep.
Because that's how older people operate.
Is that it?
But yeah, outside of
Anything
that, there wasn't a whole lot. Not a whole lot new anyway. But things going pretty well overall. Still on the decline for weight. My face still looks fat. I did see an old picture of me, and it looked like I ate my new self. It was really weird because like my face was a lot fatter, and I didn't expect it because like I see my face
how
all
long
the time.
ago though?
It was like a year ago.
Okay, so even from a year to now, you've lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Or is it more of a recent thing?
It's definitely but since like the end of January.
Very nice.
Middle to end of January to now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, indeed.
Just keep it up because that's the hardest thing. Is like I know that in that sort of thing, it's like what matters is consistency over time. Like even if you're just doing a little better, and eventually you'll get used to doing a little better, and maybe you'll push yourself to do a little bit better than that. But like, it's worth it, you know. I mean, if not for vanity's sake, just for being healthy. Like being healthy just feels better. I'm not
no doubt.
Great like person for that right now because I've not been eating healthy for a while. But like, it's just.
I feel you. Yeah, it's there's a whole side of my family I can't talk to now because they're Italian and I'm not supposed to be eating carbs, so they just disown me, I'm assuming. So I haven't talked to them in a while. But
I just want to assume
on the other end of the
joking.
spectrum. Yeah, I mean I am, but I'm not.
On the other end of the spectrum.
The moment my grandmother finds out and I'm like, "Hey, I haven't had pasta or bread in like 3 months," she's gonna be like, gobbledygook and a bunch of other Italian words, and
Well, it makes
Just
sense.
force
'Cause you
feed
know
me
what the Bible
cannolis.
says: if your eye wanders, gouge them out.
Yes, sir.
no.
That's why I wear 3 eye patches.
That's right. You don't know which one to go for.
That's why cows have 6 stomachs.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of 6 stomachs, how was your month, Josh?
It was good. It's good. My mom says hello.
Oh, hi,
Hello
Josh's
to
mom.
your mom.
It's been a while since we've all been together.
Indeed.
And I'd like to say that in the world that we live in, since the last time we were together doing a podcast, a drunk driver drove a boat into the Baltimore Bridge and Iran attacked Jerusalem.
This is true. Both very unfortunate.
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack here, so I'm just gonna start going. So you boys remember how I told you that
This will be the whole episode.
the AI is in the truck with the camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's getting bad.
You got to get
Oh,
out of
boy.
there. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, I'm starting to have issues with my job, like literal issues where my wife is like, you need to leave, find something else. But the other day when I started my shift, I had my sun visor down. Well, out of nowhere, later on that evening, the truck didn't like that my sun visor was down, so it recorded 6 videos of me with the sun visor down. Well, what happens is the video gets sent to a company. They go, yeah, that's a problem. And then they send it to management. Well, for some reason, they thought that the sun visor down was a problem.
Oh, gosh.
So now you're allowed 30 points in a month. You get 10 points if you're speeding, if you run a red light, 15, stuff like that.
Why is sun visor down why is that a problem? I'm very confused.
I have a single point because my sun visor was down.
Bruh.
And their response is that somebody sitting at home who was watching the video feed of the camera deemed that it was not bright enough outside to warrant the use of a sun visor.
Well, maybe they should, I don't know, go outside and stop watching a guy driving a truck.
Touch some grass, you pleb.
Josh,
Yeah.
you just described Nazi Germany.
It literally is. And I told him, I said, my sun visor was down from the time I turned the key on that truck to start work. How do I know at what time I'm no longer allowed to have the sun visor down and I have to put it away? And she's like, that's a good point. I'm like, this is ridiculous. You're sitting at home watching me drive. I'm like your version of Twitch in the real world.
I'm just
yelling at me.
I'm imagining some like obese man just sitting with his feet up on the chair watching your live feed of just sun visor, and the moment it turns like 6:17 a.m. he's like, that's it, it's too dark out now.
Too dark, put it away. So
Oh, man.
yeah, it's I've had dozens of videos recorded from
Josh,
the
this
truck
is insane. This is an insane thing. How is it sticking? Like it obviously is failing like
Don't
a lot.
ask. I have no idea. It's coming down to the people behind the camera at home thinking that it's an issue. The point is that the visor blocked the camera. So at a certain point of darkness, the camera couldn't see my face anymore.
That's the real reason they were upset with it.
Yeah.
Yes. And the thing is like, I told my manager, I was like, you're worried I'm texting and driving, right? Like, that's what the whole real purpose is. If there's an accident, you can catch me to see if I'm at fault. And then if I'm not doing anything wrong, then you have proof that I'm not at fault. And I said, so you're trying to see my face to make sure I'm not texting and driving. And I said, in the video, you see me sitting perfectly still, hand on the steering wheel, other hand on my armrest, just leaning off. And nothing else. I said, so what? Is there a new technology out where I'm texting and driving with my face? Like, why does the camera have to see my face if my hands are on the steering wheel? And I was like, there's no point. And it's just retarded because, like, literally, and it's not even a joke, what time of day do I have to put my sun visor away before I get in trouble?
I think probably 11 a.m.
I would have to guess.
And that's before I even start work. I don't even get in the truck till like 11:30. So it's getting bad. We
That's
had a safety
ridiculous.
call for like a monthly safety call. And this lady said every night her camera records her 6 times a night not wearing a seatbelt, but she has a
Whoa.
seatbelt on.
So this is a perfect example of good intentions
technology
and
isn't there.
ridiculous execution. Like
Mhm.
terrible execution. If it obviously doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do, I get why they want to do it, but also what
Mhm.
driver wants to drive with a camera on them 24/7? That
And it
might
talks
just get
to
them in
you. It
trouble at any point. What?
Like
It talks to you.
yeah,
It
so
creates
with
distracted driving, therefore should be
exactly.
recording itself.
So when my my visor was down, it was yelling at me going, camera lens obstructed, camera lens obstructed, camera lens obstructed, over and over and over again until I put my sun visor away. With her, it was saying seatbelt not connected, over and over. But the thing is, she's wearing the seatbelt. What is she supposed to do? Take it off? I was eating a bag of chips, like driving like this, and then I'd grab some, eat it, go back, and then like I'd rest my hand on the steering wheel, so kind of like I was driving. Well, the bag of chips was blocking the camera view of my seatbelt, and then it started yelling that I didn't have a seatbelt on.
Okay, listen. I'm serious. Okay, this is cars for
Why
a very
working
long
for these
time.
people?
For a very long time, I've had the ability to sense if your seatbelt is
And-
plugged in or not.
And the
If you're
trucks
that,
do.
if this matters that much to you, just plug into that sensor. And
Well, and they do, because they keep, if you go more than a minute without wearing your seatbelt, it starts keeping track of that time. So they keep track of that sensor being plugged in. Because like when I get to the parking lot and I have to back my trailer in, I have to like hang out the window to back. The seatbelt restricts me, so I take it off. So I have like 4 minutes over the last couple months total of not wearing a seatbelt. So it tracks the sensor of whether or not it's actually plugged in. But
then
the
why do they have a
camera-
visual version with the camera trying to act like it knows what it's talking about?
No idea.
That's goofy.
No, and
That's goofy as
they're
heck.
the guy that I meet up with, the swap the trailers, every night when he goes back to where he parks the truck, he makes a left off of the highway. And there's no stop sign. It's like literally you're driving down the road and you're turning left into a driveway. And it records a video of him every night that he's running a stop sign.
I don't even. This is
Yeah, so that's
what they're trying to get you guys to all quit so they can replace you with robots.
I told him, I said, I'm looking for something else. I can't. I got a babysitter mounted to my windshield. I can't do this. 12 years
You do.
experience, over 1 million miles safe driving without any accidents, and I'm getting yelled at for
That's
nothing.
I'm
Literally
sorry.
nothing.
sorry you got to
So-
deal with that. You want to move on from that though? Just like what about your
A
month?
couple weeks
else
ago,
been
we
going
bought
on?
a pig, and we brought it
You
home.
got a pig?
Well, no, not a real one. I'm sorry. I used to work with this guy. He sold pigs, and we bought one. We picked it up from the butcher.
I see.
Got a crap ton of meat
I
off
thought you
of
got a
it. So
pet.
we got fresh bacon and stuff. So we've been going off that. Best
Nice,
choice
nice.
we've ever made is buying fresh meat from that.
Here, I thought Josh was setting up a fat joke for me.
No. You were Andrew's birthday was the next note after buying a pig, so they were close though.
Close enough.
Happy
Um,
birthday!
Tonight I was bathing with my son, and we bought him these new little bath toys. And they're like a chemistry set that suction cups to the wall, and you can pour water in it, and it runs out of this one into another one and out of that one. And we were having a blast. I was sitting on the floor playing with him, and he was spraying water, and he'd lean out of the shower and like start spraying the bathroom with the shower head. So then the bathroom started flooding. Well, then my mom started yelling from downstairs, Josh, the bathroom's flooding and it's coming downstairs in the kitchen. So we partly flooded the house playing with the toys.
I just see you sitting in the puddle laughing like a maniac with your kid, just letting him just fill up.
Yeah,
the
he would
room.
spray me with water, and I'd be like, oh, and he'd be.
At that point, just get in the tub.
We don't have a bathtub; it's a shower.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was sitting on the shower floor playing. But going with that is, it's a terrible thing to have kids sometimes, and the reason I say that is I was cooking dinner.
Mm.
No, I was. We're getting into like homesteading life. We went out and picked dandelions and black nettle,
All
purple
right.
black nettle, and I was baking it
Sounds
in
like
the
a rare loot
oven
item.
to dry it out.
That's
And
awesome.
I was making tea for my wife because it's a natural antihistamine,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife is sick, so I'm
And-
trying to make her tea to see if it helps.
Dandelions are like super greens.
Yeah, so we're making tea out of it, and all of a sudden I hear this car go racing by, like like super loud, like pop the clutch, squeal tires, and all of a sudden I heard someone scream bloody murder. But keep in mind when this happened, my mom was outside with my son. And all of a sudden, I
Mm.
thought I swore I heard someone crying. And the first thing my mind went to is that my kid just got hit by a car. So me and my wife raced outside super fast. And I ran into the street looking to see if I could see anything. There was nobody there. Here, it was just a couple kids in the neighborhood walking down the road and just started screaming. My mom and kid were in the back playing in the fenced-in yard. I was so pumped with adrenaline. It took like a solid half hour to like calm down. I was shaking.
I want to say I
I
can
was
imagine, but I can't because I don't have that.
yeah, I was freaked out. So that's
I have
that's
these
definitely
kids.
not a pleasure of having children.
I guess if I heard a human child screaming outside, I would run out and make sure that it
No,
wasn't
they
my
weren't
cats.
they were like 14-year-old kids
Okay.
walking down. And it was
Yeah.
just like the timing of everything was just perfect, that it was like that the perfect storm with
Yeah.
that. So with all the like homesteading stuff we're trying to want to do, we also want to start supporting local, and we don't want to buy the stuff that we can buy locally from the big name grocery stores. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a local meat butcher that they actually butcher live animals and then they sell the meat fresh.
Meat
And the
butcher as
meat's
opposed to a vegetarian butcher.
yes, exactly.
I'm
You
a
know, one
vegetable butcher.
harnesses flour and the other one harnesses cow.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry for
But
cutting you off.
no, you're good. You're good. I'm used to it.
Ooh.
But
Ba-dum-bum.
the meat is healthier for you when it's local on a farm like that because they're not put in pens and they're not like clustered together, killed thousands at a time. And when they're killed like that, their blood pressure's up, their cholesterol's up, they're freaking out. So when they die, like the meat's worse for you health wise, nutrition.
Mm.
Yeah, worst thing
So
you can
we're
do is
gonna
scare a cow before you
yeah,
kill it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That sounds like a
Instead of
joke, but
moo, it's
apparently it's
boo.
not. Wow.
Um,
Now I say boo.
but so we're gonna start ordering the meat from the local butcher because the pig
Dope.
incredibly fresh. Like the pork that you buy from the store compared to the pork that it was super fresh, night and day difference. The
Dog. When
bacon,
when Josh put that pig in the skillet, it was still squealing. It was so fresh, dog. So fresh.
Well, we just talked about not doing it while it's squealing.
the girls, it's in the pantry on the top. It was the last time I saw it.
The
If
pantry.
anybody needs to break into Josh's house, you at least know where that is.
Yeah.
Yes,
The tablet is in the pantry.
please come
Mhm.
take it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna start doing next. But also we're gonna start buying milk from a local dairy farm to support the local dairy farm.
He needs some milk.
And we went there today to see how their milk was, if it was like actually worth the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought a gallon of chocolate milk literally at 3 o'clock, and it is so good and so fresh. We've already drank half of it.
All right.
And
That's
it's
awesome.
literally 20 cents more expensive than what we get in the store.
Yeah.
And there's another brand in store that is $1 more than the local dairy farm. So either you save money or you're only paying 20 cents more. So that's what we're doing for our local food scene here. And then we bought
Save
chickens.
money, live better. Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. Not sponsored by them. We bought chickens. I bought 5 of them. The chickens arrived this Wednesday. I sent the group a picture.
Chickadees.
One of them arrived dead.
Oh. So one of them arrived to Jesus. Same day shipping to heaven, bro.
Exactly. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Chickadee.
Uh,
Oh my
then
gosh.
overnight, kind of,
In other news,
chick,
Josh had nuggets that day.
another chick ended up dying, so we lost 2.
Well, you
Oh.
knew that's how they make chicken nuggets, right? They're just a chick each.
They're just baby chicks. They're
Mhm.
day-old chicks.
Oh yeah.
Day old.
They pop
Um,
out. They give them a little bit of chance to experience life, and they throw them in the fryer.
Yeah, they
Nope,
run
this
around
one's
and they
slow.
take
See
a
you
little
later.
lasso, and then they lasso them up. That way they're like free range.
A little tiny lasso. I love it.
So we got 3 healthy ones downstairs running around wild. in
Until
their little-
another one just drops over dead.
Nah, they're
Is that
healthy
going to be
now.
on Josh's new ADHD corner? Are you going to introduce us to each of the chicks live
I
at
can
some
if
point?
you want.
Yeah, buddy.
They're
Yeah, buddy.
Not this one because I feel like it's gonna run longer. So
they're doing very
Yeah.
well.
let's do next one when we do the.
The reason they died is because they came from Ohio and they shipped out Monday and they didn't get here till Wednesday. So it's a 2-3 day trip without food or water.
That's a
And
good
they
time.
have to have 105-degree heat. So, they get very cold easily. So the trip is very hard on them. That's why sometimes they die.
That's
So
sad.
we wanted 5. We only had 3, so I bought 3 more. So 3 more will be coming Wednesday.
And whenever
Which,
2 of them
hopefully,
die, then you
yeah,
buy
yeah.
2 more, and you'll get 1.
And you know what they call that? It's called
Lover's
chicken math.
remorse. Oh, chicken death.
Chick math.
Chick math.
Yes. So Andrew, I like your picture because we're starting to grow a
Okay.
garden at our house.
Let's go.
And the very first thing that we planted, which I planted this weekend, was 23 seed potatoes.
The way it should be. Potatoes are life. I wish I could eat
And-
more of them.
I don't know how true it is, but I read that when you plant a seed potato, it multiplies by 10.
I've
Right.
heard that, but I don't know how true it is.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is either. So I planted 23. So hopefully
230 potatoes.
I'm
This-
hoping,
This
baby.
guy
I'm
maths. So
hoping.
That's
after
potato
that,
math.
can you take each of those potatoes and get a seed potato from each of them, and then get
Yes,
2,300
you
potatoes?
can seed potato 230 of them.
Josh is going to single-handedly solve world hunger by potato.
That's what I don't understand. Why can't we be doing that?
We should. Potatoes are the most versatile, fantastic foods.
They are the most
Because-
versatile, calorie-dense, and satiating planet.
Exactly.
They're pretty great.
They are extremely
starchy.
satiating.
And people
And the
hate
reason
starch.
they're not seed potatoes
just-
from the store is because they spray a root inhibitor. So when they get those little buds, they don't really, like if you leave a
Yeah.
kid in the pantry too long,
Mhm.
those
The
won't
eyes.
really get too big because of some chemical they're sprayed on. So a seed potato is basically a normal potato that hasn't been sprayed with that stuff, so they're
Mm.
allowed to fully develop. So potentially I could just keep those 230 potential potatoes and then 2,300 potatoes next year,
Yeah, baby. Yeah,
I can't wait
baby.
for 2.3 mil.
We'll
Then
be-
Josh is going to take over his entire town. It's just going to be a big potato farm.
I'm gonna start a French fry company.
That's right.
You can't walk through the woods without tripping over a potato
Thank you,
plant.
boo. So
Surprise guest.
Megan.
what?
Megan.
We saw Megan.
It's the illustrious Megan.
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 We're on
You
a
got
Megan
Megan,
sidetrack.
Megan, Fee,
Let's,
Fi, Fo, Fagan, Megan.
How about
Okay,
anything
so
other
real
than
quick,
potatoes and
one more.
chicks? What's next?
One more. We're going on to bees.
Your life is wild. Every single
Well,
time.
it's been a month.
We could just do a whole
It's been a month.
podcast just talking about your life.
So there's this bee. I'm trying to. I've joined a meat rabbit group, chicken group, pig group, turkey group, goat group, and
Oh,
we would
gosh.
like when we get property to start raising bees. And a
that's
Oh, I thought you were going to say a
suggested
property group.
Facebook group popped up was Pennsylvania beekeepers.
Hey.
I was like, yes,
Bees?
let's
Question
start-
mark?
yeah. I was like, let's start getting some knowledge right now. So,
You
if
should
we
become
want to do
beekeepers.
this,
That's awesome.
We'll do it. Dude, honey's expensive.
Yes, it is.
Dude.
It really is.
So that would be,
And bees
we
are
want to make like
endangered,
a
like,
little
badly,
farm stand. So like, what are they called? I trust you to pay for something when you go do it, but I'm not going to be there to sell it. You know what I'm
Stealing?
talking about? No, you like at the end of the driveway, you put out eggs for sale, firewood.
Oh,
and then
yeah, okay.
they put the money in the
Oh.
box.
I don't know what
You
it's
just
called.
like the
but I know
honor
what you're
system.
talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, honor system. Yeah.
Do you
So
live in
I've got
a rural enough area that you think that would
No,
work?
we're not. We don't. I wouldn't have anywhere to put the stand
Oh,
because
okay.
we live right on the street.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Andrew.
If you want some tips, if you remember Harry, I would get in touch
Yeah.
with him, like Harry and Miranda Harry. He was a
Oh.
beekeeper for a long time.
I forgot they had a bunch of them too.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
So, anyways, real quick, go to join this group, and then, you know how when you join Facebook groups, they're like, answer these questions so we know you're not a robot.
Hmm.
Immediately, the very first sentence is, do not invite anyone to this group. Send them the link only. If you invite them, you will be shamed. And I'm like, what?
What?
What did I just venture into? I will be
Shamed? Question
shamed?
mark?
So they ask you like a total of 3 questions. This goes, what city and state are you from? Remember, do not invite to this group. Share the link or you will be shamed. So I'm like, Pennsylvania? And then it was like, do you have bees already? Remember, do not share the link or you will be shamed. And I'm like, no, I don't have bees yet. And so finally got to the third question, and it was like, said the same thing. Don't invite, share the link. I was like, listen, the last time I was told by somebody that I was going to be shamed, shame on you, you little bad boy, I was a 3-year-old child. I don't need to be talked to like I'm a little retarded kid. I said, we're at the point where you've already told me 6 times not to share the thing already. So I wrote that. And then at the end of the question, I was like, but no, I don't have bees yet.
But no, I don't have bees yet.
And I got welcome to the group.
Let's go.
I like to think that the moderator who approved that just got a good giggle.
At some point, they got to be like, you know what? It's a little bit excessive. Our bad.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Good thing.
bad.
So that's it. I'm sorry, I was a little long-winded.
Oh, I haven't done this in a month. Are we ready, boys? What
We
time
are.
is it?
It is game time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
news.
I'm looking at these articles the first time you guys are hearing them, so let's do this. Massive
I'm
Yu-Gi-Oh! Are you gonna talk over me? Is this the game we're gonna play? Are we gonna play this game, Joshua? Oh, you're gonna drink.
I mean-
you're gonna drink some out of a cup now. It says Happy Jack.
It's the chocolate milk from the...
Oh, you really like that chocolate milk, huh? Massive Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG ban list. Update bans 4 cards. Limit 6. This is gripping. So the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG releases a massive update to its forbidden and limited list, with 4 cards being banned and affecting more than 15 cards. Oh no.
Your mom's forbidden.
I knew nothing about the... Wow, okay.
Bound to go...
Okay, it's goodness. Okay,
Oh,
so
we want thoughts, too.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a it's a Pokemon. It's not a Pokemon. It's a trading card game like Pokemon, but it's very different. And it's been around like probably just a few years less time. Like it's pretty old now these days. And basically, they have this. It's an actual card game that you play, like Pokemon is, and you basically fight another opponent and you can win or lose. Yay, like a game. Great. So, they have certain things in the game called metas, where as new cards, new packs, new sets come out, older sets fall out of the meta and are not tournament legal, essentially. And so basically it keeps people buying the cards and making new decks and playing with the new stuff. And it just keeps, and anyone can pick up any of the cards and play any of the old ones, like just socially, but in like tournament settings and that sort of thing. It's just like Pokemon. From my understanding, I could be a little bit wrong because I'm not very deep into Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's just the general gist of it. Is in tournaments there's certain metas, and I guess they are banning 4 cards.
Oh, this will be
Likely
good.
because of being too powerful or just too much power creep and or being some kind of like ridiculous infinite combo with other cards, that sort of thing. So there's that. Did either of you play Yu-Gi-Oh growing up at all? Or
Oh, yeah.
collect them?
A little bit, yeah.
I
Me
remember
and
you and
Andrew
Joel
used to
did.
play
Oh, Andrew, you
together.
did too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I-
me and
very-
Andrew played like a
very
year
little.
ago together a lot.
That's funny.
Used to be
Mhm.
cool. That's why I picked this link, because Andrew keeps sending me TikToks of Exodia being used in a battle.
Yeah, dude, and it was like nerd heaven for everybody. They were like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it was
You
like
hear-
better than the Super
And not
Bowl." It
even
was
that, like
nuts.
you hear people in the background screaming. They're like, "Yeah!" And the guy's like, "Kid, he's got 1 piece left. Can he draw it?" And the guy's like, plays this card. He draws 6 more, and the crowd's just like, "Oh my gosh!"
Well, that's the
It was
one with
nuts.
the head, the body, and the arms and legs that you have to play all
Yes.
of them together,
Yeah.
right?
You gotta draw 5 pieces, and once you
Yeah.
do, you instantly win the game.
That's ridiculous. All right, so I mean, if you guys know Yu-Gi-Oh more than this, you want to add to any of that? That's like cool, but
Do they name the cards?
yeah, okay. If not, we'll
Sorry.
move on to the next one.
Y'all ever heard the game Fallout?
Yes, this is another thing I wanted to touch on.
Well,
you
touch on that
usually
we
come up with the
shall.
articles, Josh. So
Yeah,
Say what?
I love you.
Fallout is a game. Well, there's a bunch of them.
No.
1, 2, 3. New Vegas 4.
No.
There's then there that the live the live MMO one as well. And basically, it's created by Bethesda, the ones who made Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls games, stuff like that. Xbox discounts popular Fallout games to celebrate release of television show. So I guess if you've never played the Fallout games, now's the time to buy them if you're interested, because the television show came out April 10th, and
I
that's a
watched
thing.
it one day.
And I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's about as gory as it comes. Is that the case?
It was fantastic.
That's not what I asked, but all right. It says save up to 75% on the Fallout games.
Wow.
But it looks like I'm only seeing on this picture Fallout 76 Atlantic City, whatever that is. That must be that must be an update title for the like a title.
Yeah, they
update
have like
for
Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, Fallout 76.
Yeah, Fallout 4 Game of the Year and Fallout 4. I don't know what's up with that, but basically they have a sale on Fallout games, so that's a thing. And that's
I do recommend the
that's cool.
show if you don't mind a little blood, and there is one random nudity scene, but if you're playing this game, you're obviously okay with it.
Fair enough, I
It
guess.
was a great show. Great, I loved it. I tried to play the game a couple times, Fallout 3, and I just keep getting stuck, and I never was able to get into it. But the show, I was like, whoever thought of this kind of a world and like all the little worlds within the world, I was like,
Mhm.
freaking great show. Was not expecting it. I was just excited. Yeah, it's good. Definitely recommend.
Oh boy, we're gonna get into this conversation.
And here's a controversial one for the day. Told you it was controversial.
Former Blizzard president says players should be able to tip developers.
Hence why he was formal.
After
Former.
completing a game. So basically,
Feel free to give me the
former-
option, but no.
The former Blizzard president, who I guess has had he's had a lot to do with what was it, Xbox and everything. He started with Microsoft a long time before, like back in 2000. His name is Mike Ibarra, and this is just very much how the top people, the people at the very top of pretty much any company think. They're like, okay, how can we make literally as much money as humanly possible? And like, microtransactions hits the button. Up the game's prices from $60 to $70 per game, hits the button. And if you just completed a match in your favorite video game, do you want to support your favorite developers? We made this game.
Yeah, like you
Give us
play
some
your
extra
first
money?
like 6 matches or
It's the
5
button.
matches of a brand new game, and then when you go back to the main menu to like re-queue for something, it's like,
hey,
would
did you like
to
this game?
donate?
Yeah. Did you like this game? You should consider donating.
Rate this game.
Here's an
and if
easy
it's
$1,
positive-
$5, or $7,000.
Obviously that's not a thing that's, actually like actively happening, but the fact that the president has mentioned that on Twitter is insane. I don't get like
Insane in the membrane.
Okay.
Insane, got no brain.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay, I actually want to read the tweet. And I get like outrage is fun and whatnot, but it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Reading from the tweet, but still, it's wild.
I do like having controversial topics. I did have somebody who listens to the podcast say, like, you guys should talk about hot topics like the bridge collapse and what we think, and if it's a conspiracy theory.
Bridge fall down, me think bad.
I think this would be a little good.
Thank you, viewer, for your feedback.
When you listen to a podcast, like, what keeps you going? When they get on a topic and they have a discussion about it, like, whatever it is, Pokemon cards, why they think one version's better than the other, and you think this is better, so you want to hear their argument, and so I think that's what kind of makes things more interesting. So it's just a tip from a viewer. Okay, let's hear the tweet.
So, this is the tweet. I've thought about this idea for a while, as a player, since I've been diving into single-player games lately.
No, you haven't. You thought about this idea as a freaking developer and a businessman. Never once in a gamer's life have they went, you know what would be really nice? If this free game, or this game I already paid $70 for, plus another $70 for the DLC, plus another $15 for the Battle Pass, plus another $16 for the expansion that they didn't think they were going to make, but then, somebody didn't like the ending of the game, so they gave you red, blue, and green, and then they decided to give you a better ending that makes it all fit together. I'd love to pay them more. He didn't think about this as a gamer. He's probably never touched a game since Atari.
And who's the people that are going to be getting these tips? What if the people that worked on the game quit and went somewhere else?
I have so much more to read of the tweet. Let me just
I have a friend who worked on EA game as a programmer, but their contract work, would they see any of that tip? Like, who are the people getting the tip?
Big boys.
Him? Yeah.
Exactly.
When I beat a game, there are some that just leave me in awe of how amazing the experience was. At the end of the game, I've often thought, I wish I could give these folks another $10 or $20 because it was worth more than my initial $70.
He obviously doesn't wonder where his next meal's coming from.
And they didn't try to nickel and dime me every second. Games like HZD, GOW, RDR2, BG3, Elden Ring, etc. I know $70 is already a lot, but it's an option at the end of the game. I wish I had it sometimes. Some games are that special. I know most will dislike this idea, smiley face. By the way, I realize we are tired of tipping and everything else, but I view this different from a pressure to tip type scenario many face and give feedback on. So that's wacky.
No, you know what? I do agree with him, but he's got to add totality to his thought. What he needs to do is, if I get to the end of the game and I beat it, and I'm highly dissatisfied, I need to take money from the developer.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Why can't you
have
both?
So we tip waitresses and waiters.
Time. Yeah.
But now we're going to tip people for making product. Should I get a tip for delivering the circuits and everything? And
absolutely. And if you're late, I demand some of your money out of your own pocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I finish a game. This is me playing a game. I just finished the game. Oh, look, this is the end screen. Boom, tip. Boom, sap. I can just hit sap, and I can just sap $20 back right into my account. And then it's great.
$20? You're thinking too much. I'm going to the max. Every game I'm going to hate from now on. Every single one. Wow, what was that? Your favorite game, Persona 5 Royal, remade again? And it came to the end? Guess what? I'm getting all $70 back because I'm sick of paying money for a game.
You guys like the game? Did you guys finish the game?
What game?
The game that we played for 5 weeks?
He just, only rich people would go, I just beat this game, it was fantastic, I want to pay more.
Listen, I wouldn't say rich people. There's lots of people who are
McDonald's.
There's lots of people who are wealthy but aren't rich that would still probably. I still don't see them doing that though as a thing. You don't get to a point where you're wealthy unless you actually are good at saving money. And why are you going to randomly throw money at just random developers?
Money? Are we not paying enough money for games?
To
Like,
be
I
Well, that
fair,
was the
games-
whole reason why they said they raised the price
Yeah.
standard up of $10 USD was because the games are becoming more and more expensive to make and blah blah blah.
they've
but
always
at the
been
same time,
relatively
like,
expensive.
we're going
Like,
out
it hasn't
on a
changed.
but it's a weird
Yeah.
industry though. We're going out on a limb to pay $70 for a game that could just absolutely be a bust too. Like, you want us to tip, but like, what if you come out with a game that we spend money on and it just ends up being a
Well, that's
trash
why you
game
don't
that we
pre-order
don't like?
anymore. There's always going to be people who
Mhm.
pre-order, but you can not be those people, and you can watch the people and look at the reviews beforehand and decide on whether or not it's actually good without getting spoiled for the game. Like, there are lots of ways to avoid that, but I get what you're saying.
And
Like-
that's what would happen with that kind of culture. Like, if someone's going to keep asking me for a tip at the end of the game whenever I beat it, if I'm going to say no, and I'd rate it 0 stars. But when you look at my Steam review, it's going to be like, dude, this game's amazing, life changing. Please play Firewatch. 0 out of 10 every time.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Just the idea of that popping up at the end of like playing a game. I don't like it.
Talk about like, especially you play this tearjerker, right? Just real story invested, and games that I kind of like. Let me get super involved into the lore of the world and feel like that I know and have a personal relationship with these excellently written characters.
Like Mortal
And
Kombat.
then cut to black right after a sad scene. Maybe the protagonist doesn't survive, big plot twist, and then as it cuts to black, bink, right before the credits. How did you enjoy this game? For $9.99, you can give
No.
us your opinion. Like, what the?
Yeah, because you want to enjoy the moment. Be like,
I tried to move
what
on from
just
this.
happened? Like, I'm so upset, or like, well, what a
Mm.
great idea to end the game. Like, that's not even going to give you time.
Do you
to,
want
like,
a sequel? How about for $15?
show us your appreciation? Tip the developers.
All right, well, I'm gonna quit
Really,
enough
myself.
I kind
eating
of
it. Time to
move
see
on.
microtransactions as a way of tipping the developers. I mean, come on.
I agree.
It's already a thing.
Yes and no, though, because I get your point on that, but at the same time, like,
You're paying for something. You're getting something.
you're
It's
paying
not just
for
a
something
donation.
that you kind of
Mhm.
like, that like not a people have, like Fortnite costumes, stuff like that. So it's really just like, I get the point, but also,
Yeah.
it's a tip, but also it's like you want to have a little extra swag or a boost or whatever it might be to whatever they have to offer.
The wolf among us. I didn't like that at all, Josh. Can you redo
Sorry.
that? That was better. Thank you.
better?
Much
All right.
better.
So that was I'm very curious how things I don't know how, like, all the different, there's like a few different ways that I can think of, like, big plot points of this last part, but I don't know how many different, like, story ways you can go. Okay, we're gonna get into it. Are you pulling up the summary and we're gonna go through that again?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have it. I'm ready. So the last episode literally ends off. You're like in the lion's den, quote unquote. You finally meet the crooked man, and you
Mhm.
make the decision, and you're basically having like a good old Mexican standoff. Remember the Alamo? Either someone's dying or you're taking someone with you, and that's
Yeah, all the
cut to
bad
black.
people
That was
are
it.
there.
All the bad guys are
Yep.
there. You're done for.
Yep.
So the first portion of this chapter, or of this episode, is chapter 1. It's called the Chapel, and it's called the Chapel because there's this like really cool like stained glass window that I don't know if it's actual like fairy tale lore like most of the other like myths and legends are, but there was, I noticed, like a stained glass window that seemed to give the crooked man's like backstory if you take the time to look at it. Now I still don't know what it is because I don't know if this was just made for the game or not, but it just really shows. I'm looking at it and it shows like he's just kind of walking around as like a poor guy. He just finds like a diamond or something, and he's like petting some animals, and he has this nice house now, and it's just a really weird visual representation of what I'm going to assume is like his nursery rhyme, I guess, because it seems like most of these fictional characters are in some way related to like a nursery rhyme or story. But yeah, so what happens is, oh, actually, hold on. It is okay. So it is a nursery rhyme, and they actually have it here in the explanation. So the nursery rhyme goes: there was a crooked man, and he walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked sixpence upon a crooked stile. He brought a crooked cat, which he caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a crooked little house. So I guess he's got some little he's got something.
Interesting.
He ain't. Yeah, I mean, I can't say he ain't fake because this whole
Is
thing's
that
fake.
all the
you know.
lore there is about the Crooked Man? Like, did they
It's
just
all the
kind
lore
of?
that I
I
saw,
guess they
yeah.
just kind of like took that and said, "Okay, we're gonna put the Crooked Man in our game. He's gonna be the villain."
Yes, that's
That's
it.
great. I mean, to be fair, he sounds like a villain. So
Yeah. So yeah, the first, he's basically at this point he's talking to you and he's trying to seem very well. He's like, hey, Vivian here makes a really, really good carpaccio. Like the lobster's delicious. He's trying to offer you food and stuff. And of course, you can have a drink that he offers you, or just really reiterate that you're not friends. Or I was like, listen, dog, I told you it's over. You're coming with me. Quit trying to butter me up. Not happening,
Yep.
Chief. So to move on from that, he still welcomes you. He's really trying to. Your job is big to be is you're trying to get him to give himself up, or the other option is basically play his game and see what happens.
yeah,
Because you have on one hand, I'm in the lion's den right now. At any moment, all of these people could jump me and probably take me out, essentially. Or should I, but should I stand my ground with that? Or should I just kind of play along and to go along, get along to go along,
yep.
however that saying goes.
Get along, go along.
So whenever I was, taking
Just to
those
make
decisions.
it through. Thinking the All American Reject song moving
Yeah.
along.
And so at this point, that's really what you're doing, and he's trying to pressure you into playing his game. Most of the choices around conversation just dilute to that. The whole time, I'm just like trying to be the very prototypical, like, okay, it's time to make the arrest. I am the sheriff. I need to do my job.
He
Is
was
kind of where
making
I
me
was standing.
so mad.
He's the smoothest
the whole-
talker I ever did meet.
He is.
He's pretty smooth.
Like going into that episode, I'm like, it's going down. Like meet me in the club.
Timber.
And the whole time he's like, "Oh yeah, we know about the murder. We're gonna take care of it
We're
ourselves.
taking care of
Taking care of that.
internally.
Yeah.
Would you like a drink? Do you need anything?" I'm like, "Shut up!" Like so many people are dying. You're just like, "Yeah, we're gonna take care of this with HR."
It's like, yeah, that was a
Right.
mistake. We're taking care of it. Don't worry. You don't need to get
Trust
involved.
me, you're fine. Just have this steak. I'm sure everything will smooth over.
Yep.
And that was kind of the first like hardcore decision you had to make in this episode was basically you're coming face to face with him and finally getting upset. And he does admit that the killer worked for him, and that it wasn't necessarily him per se. So you have the choice to whether you can just tell him that you know who did it, which I didn't do, or you could just like demand for him to tell you who did it, which was the option that I chose. So he didn't try to tell me, but like immediately, at least in my playthrough, I don't remember who it was, but immediately, like everybody just turned on him straight up, and they're like, "Yeah, it's Georgie over here."
That's hilarious.
And
I chose the option. I said, I told him I know, and you said something along the lines of that. He said something along the lines of like, "Oh, of course you're the sheriff, like whatever, just smooth talking." And he's like, "I'm sure you do, but I mean, who do you think it is?" And I told him it was him.
Nice. What'd you say to that, Josh?
I thought it was him at first. Like I thought because he was in the car and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I blamed him for everything too. Like it was you, and then eventually it came that they're like, "No, it was actually so and so."
Yeah, and that's when you find out it
He
was
throws him
Georgie.
under the bus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
immediately. And Georgie was not having
like,
it. He was like, "Hold the phone,
It's
bro.
like, you
Thought
told me to
said you
do
were gonna
this."
protect me." Yeah, he's like, "You
Yeah.
told me to take care of them." He's like,
Yep.
"I'm not dumb. I know what that means." And Josh, I wish I could have watched you play this because I would want to put like a violence counter in the corner of your
gosh.
stream, because there were like multiple times. This episode may have felt short, but there were so many times where the option was just like punch him, punch her, stab them, stab her,
Well,
like craziness.
Good thing, because it would have stayed 0 the whole time.
Oh wow, proud of you.
Because I didn't know what to do. I was like, because you know how a lot of the game, it was like you're after the trail of 2 bad people. One's going this one, one's going this way. Who are you gonna take? And when he threw Georgie under the bus, and then Georgie was like, "But wait a minute, you told me to do it." I'm like, all right, crap. Like, okay, now we have 2 people who are at fault. I need to be explained why he's saying it was Georgie's fault. But I know in scenarios like this, that the crooked man is 100% the one who dished out the order.
Yeah.
So, like, every time it was like, hit him, I'm like, no, because I don't have enough information on to figure out, like, what needs to be done. So I played it as cool as I could for a while, till it came down to the end where you were forced to start fighting.
Yeah, because I didn't give in. I was like, you're coming with me. But I ended up saying they're both going to come with me.
I said, you're all coming with me.
And
like,
he was like, and then the crooked man just turns it around using his words, and then it gets it to him giving me the choice of leaving or taking Georgie only. And I'm like, no, I told you, I'm taking both of you, that sort of thing. And so he's like, he just the crooked man puts his head in his hands. Like, it could have been so much easier. And then they like, you can say this part.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. That I wasn't sure if I missed something, because as soon as the option came up to like, because I want to say it was they might have it here. Yeah, so there is a point where the options that are here that are given is grab Georgie to say I'm not leaving, grab the crooked man, or not say anything. And I immediately went to grab the crooked man, and he was like, no, we tried to do this the nice way, and then everyone just jumped. So I was like, I probably did something wrong here.
Yeah.
But that's how it went down for me. It was pretty swift.
Well, there was a fourth option, not to say anything and not grab them both.
Yeah.
It was basically,
that was the last option, yeah.
Yeah, the other one was like just telling him, I told you I'm taking both of you. You don't grab either of them, because I wasn't ready to just grab them, but
yeah.
I guess it doesn't give you the option. It's like you go to, and then he says, all right, well, that's it. And then they break through the stained glass window, and there's a portal.
Yeah, and right before, of course, as soon as he's like, it could have went easily, you just see Bloody Mary come out of that mirror, and I was like, yeah, we're fighting now for sure. There ain't no doubt about it. And then Tweedledee, or Tweedledee and Dumb, if you didn't murder one of them.
I had a few less people than you to fight.
You sure did. You sure did. I do like, though, how I guess it was because he kind of got manhandled before, and he got jumped the last time he was around Bigby. But Jersey Devil played 0 games. Like, no one else is like, everyone else is like, oh yeah, like, let's tussle. But Jersey Devil just said, I'm going straight into my demon time form, and I'm gonna kill you. Like, that was it. No questions.
That guy's the worst, but he's also kind of terrifying.
He stands on business, though.
Yeah.
I give him credit. He does. You get your couple quick time events. Tweedle Doofus over there tries to shoot you. Jersey Devil just charges at you, and you choke slam him.
And it's crazy that this was the second most intense action sequence this episode.
Right. And then, Georgie, which, bro, I'm mad that there wasn't an option to just, like, punch Georgie out. Because I'm just sitting here, I'm like trying to survive, right? He's got this knife, which, thinking back on it, Bigby took like 58 buckshot rounds. Like, why is he afraid of a knife? Just take the stab, punch him in the face, and keep it moving. But yeah, so like you're wrestling this knife away from Georgie, and you stab him in the gut. There was no choice. You couldn't be pacifist. No,
it was like part of the story.
Yeah, it was part of the story, and you kind of gut the guy, and I felt
I felt bad too, but there's not really it wasn't that you did it out of like maliciousness to kill this man. Like,
it was definitely in self.
Their whole group is attacking them, and you're doing these quick time events, trying to not die, and that's just part of what happens. So
yeah. And so after that, you stab him, and he's like, "Oh, my gut!" And everyone's kind of trying to leave through the portal.
True.
Oh, my butt.
Yeah. Oh, my butt. Which the next big choice I would argue. So you have, what was it that you grabbed something? I can't remember what it was. Like a big stick or something. Or no, it was like a staff. It was a staff, and it had a I guess it would be a naginata. Had like a pole arm
I don't know
kind
what
of
it
looking
was
thing.
exactly.
But yeah, like you basically knock over Jersey Devil, and he's just sitting there, and you have the option to just cut his freaking head off. And I didn't. That was the first time I was like, I'm not hitting this quick time event, because I was kind of worried that I was just going to kill him, since I
You don't
assumedly
kill
killed
him.
Georgie Porgy.
You
You
don't
don't?
kill him.
Oh, I assumed you did.
You just kind of slam
Wow,
into him and
Nathan
knocks it
tried
out.
to kill him and
No,
wasn't able to.
No, it was just I needed to get him, like, he was on the ground. He was still moving. He was just on the ground, and I was like, oh, yeah, knock him out. It didn't look like something sharp. I didn't look like I was going to behead him. It just
Yeah,
seemed like
but if I've learned anything from playing this game, those choices are a little bit sus sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
because sometimes I go to say something and it's like, whoa, wait a minute,
Yeah.
that's not.
I
It's
just
like,
feel
oh
like
yeah, the
anytime
well
there-
water's good, and then he
Yeah.
says the well water's good if you've never had taste buds in your life, you bum.
I just
Like,
don't.
dang,
I
okay.
don't think that they take life in this game that, what's the word? Lively, because like any
Seriously?
other option in the past that you've had to possibly kill someone, it was like a text option that specifically stated to kill the person.
Yeah, true.
So I just,
That's fair.
I
It
just
was like
did
in
not.
parentheses.
I didn't think that I was going to kill him there. I wouldn't have done it if that was the case. But it does knock him out, and he's not a problem, and then you follow them. So, what happens
Nice.
whenever you don't do it, though? You just keep fighting?
He just no, he just, you sit there and he just kind of like slouches. He doesn't really do much. He just gives up because he's like, yeah, I'm
So you
defeated.
didn't have to do it anyway. No matter. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Cool.
But yeah. So as soon as you walk through the portal, after you see like everyone else is leaving, because I think it was, is her name Vivian or Victoria? I can't remember. Vivian. She and Georgie, they go off in one car, and the Crooked Man and I believe it was Bloody Mary drive
Yeah.
off in his limo, which basically that is just one giant quick time event, the whole scene, and you're in your your wolf form, your werewolf form,
werewolf form, yeah, and you're basically just chasing them through the city. They're in cars, so they're a lot faster than you, but you start like roof hopping. And,
not much faster, yeah, because
yeah,
Bigby was booking it. He caught up.
was crazy, and you're basically just chasing them. And it actually gets to a point which I'm kind of okay with how it turned out in the end, but there's like a point where you end up getting onto a bridge from a building, and then you have the option to jump off. And I saw that there were 2 cars I could hit, but I couldn't remember which was which, and I didn't really realize that they got in the limousine. So I just picked the right one, and it ended up being Georgie Porgy's car.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I knew. As soon as I was going to click it, and I was just slow enough that I saw the other car coming to me. I was like, you're
So
not
you
getting
did
me
it?
with this telltale. So yeah, I jumped
Oh,
on
I
the
can't
other
wait to
one.
find out what happens. Okay, that's cool. Well, if
So
you
what
want to say your
happened
side first, or
Well, I was going to ask you, how did that work for you when you jumped on
from the
Georgie's car?
beginning, I never realized that you would have had the option to chase the 2. I thought we were
just chasing one of them.
Crusty old man left, and you were just chasing Georgie.
Yeah, at that
Crusty
point.
old man.
So when you chase Georgie the whole while, then all of a sudden you go to jump off the bridge. I thought we were just gonna have to try to make it onto one car, but all of a sudden it was like 2 cars. I'm like, I'm confused. Why am I picking between 2? I know Georgie's in this one.
Yeah, I was a little.
And then
we
when
both
you
got
make
thrown
that
off there.
decision to jump on Georgie, it kind of like laughs at you, because then you kind of like see the Crooked Man like
I was
wave
annoyed.
at you.
I was
going
annoyed.
by. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was my option.
However, later
Gotcha.
I was okay with my decision, but I'm curious what happened with Andrew. But basically, we end up like, you tell it.
Well, what happens is you basically hang on and fight them all the way to the strip joint again. I put it in pie or
Yeah, and they at some point they realize they
Yeah.
can't shake you off, so they just slam on the brakes and you go flying off the car forward, and then they just turn
Yeah.
into an alley, and then you go to follow them, and they've turned around in the alley, and then they just start like they're down the alley, they're going full speed at you, and you just either choose to go left or right. I don't know how much that matters or not, but you just kind of climb the building and get away from them, and then they end up going to the pudding and pie, and then you end up seeing them from the top of the building like go inside. And so you just follow them in. It gives you the option to, when you're inside, it's that main room where you talked to him before, like the first time you met him, I'm pretty sure. At least I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But basically you go inside, it gives you the option to listen, And so I did
Mhm.
that first, and I just listened to what they're talking about, and like they're just it's Vivian
Oh.
and Georgie
Oh.
talking to each
Okay,
other.
so that's different. Yeah.
And I mean,
I
Georgie
stormed
is
in.
messed up. Like
Mhm.
he's it sounds pretty bad, and then it gives you the option to like to look without them seeing you. Like you just kind of like peek in, and they're just
Mhm.
like sitting on these chairs, and she's like tending to his wounds and whatnot. And
Wow. Okay, so yeah, there are quite a few differences there. That's
yeah,
interesting.
I'm curious this reaction. So you end up just kind of strolling in, and they're like, oh, "What's up, Big B?" Basically, like,
What's
what
up,
can you
Big B?
do? Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
So I mean, Josh, you want to continue with what happens in there?
So
Oh well,
she's
before you guys get there, because that's
Oh.
like the next. That's the next scene.
for you.
And mine's vastly different from you guys already.
Oh yeah, if you
So
want to do your like what happens next for you, that's fine.
yeah, because it sounds like their diverging paths are starting already. But yeah, so when you jump on the Crooked Man's car, Bloody Mary's just like, nah, fam, I'm not having these problems, and like tries to shoot you through the roof like twice. And then the moment that she can't, she just slams on the brakes and you go flying into like a telephone pole, and you wake up as Bigby instead of the wolf, and you're just kind of like, where the heck am I? And then you see you're not too far from the pudding and pie because you can see the Georgie's car and like the whole
Oh.
blood and stuff coming out of it. So this is where the differences make a difference or the choices make a difference, because I walked in and I heard Georgie talking, and he was like talking, it sounded like he was talking to somebody, and I listened at first too, but he was the only one talking, and he was like kind of sad. And as soon as you walk in, Vivian's dead. She's not
What?
alive anymore. Yeah, and from what you gather
Like head on the
in that
ground?
scene, yeah, head on the ground, like she took her ribbon off, or he took her ribbon off, one of the two. You don't know what happened yet, but
So
he's
wait,
just like
the Crooked
talking
Man
to her.
gets
And
away.
she's dead. Still gets away. Yeah, still gets away.
That
and
choice didn't matter in the Crooked Man because he gets away anyway. It just matters for what happens next
Yeah,
with Georgie. Okay.
yeah. So for me, Vivian's dead. She's done.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy.
So what happens? Yeah.
Well, okay. You walk in that room. Okay, Josh. Actually, did you want to tell it?
Yeah, you walk in the room and you have this long conversation, and basically he admits that he killed them, but he killed them because he was told to by the Crooked Man, and like basically he was threatened, like if he didn't do it, the Crooked Man would take care of all of them. So
Yeah.
he said take care of the issue, and you're kind of like threatening to harm him or like be nice to him and stuff like that, and eventually you put two and two together that the ribbons are what killed them, like
Mhm.
cut their head off, and that the chick there, that
He ends up
she
divulging
created
a little secret.
her
Hmm.
her fairy tale is that she created the ribbons with some like magic.
Yeah.
And she wears it, and it will all disappear from all the other people if she were to take her ribbon off.
Like it'll break the spell for the other girls if hers
for
was taken
everybody
off.
else that's left
Okay.
left alive.
And
Gotcha.
he ends up like telling Big B that she is the reason for all of it, and she's real upset. And then it gives you the option to straight up walk up to her and take her ribbon off.
I tried.
Oh my gosh, are
tried.
you serious?
Yeah.
We'll counter +1 for Josh.
Oh my gosh! No, I said there has to be another way. There's like an option. He's like there has to be another way. I'm not just gonna kill you.
Well, when I realized that like everybody else would be saved if she would just remove it, and she's the reason the other two died, I was like, okay, let's just solve the problem. Pull yours off. Like, obviously, you're a bad person because you're trying to protect Georgie. We already know Georgie's a bad person. So I'm like, if you're playing with Georgie, you're the reason that these ribbons exist, and everybody else will be safe if you take yours off. I was like, no brainer, remove yours. And then
No
she kind
brainer.
of like
We're resorting to murder.
she pulls away and she's like, no, if anybody's gonna remove it, it'll be me. And then like you do this little talk where
Interesting.
Georgie's like, no, don't do it.
Well,
and then she
we
just
get
rips
to
it
the
off.
like my way without trying to do it to her. Like it basically gets to that point regardless because she just ends up like convinced was talking about like she regrets doing it in the first place, and she wants the rest of them to be safe after the other two had died. So she ends up making the decision to pull it off herself. So you didn't ever see her die.
No, she was donezo.
It's terrifying. It's like she pulls it off, and it's
and you literally watch her head go
underneath of it.
flip.
Like she pulls it off, and it's like already like cut. Like it's not like it cuts through her. She just pulls it off, and it's like almost like the whole time it was just keeping her head on.
It was just
and it just falls, just falls.
Wow,
like it unzipped.
Pretty much. I mean,
interesting,
it's ridiculous, but Georgie was
crazy.
losing his mind over it. Like he was like bawling his eyes out because like I don't know if they were just really close friends or like they loved each other that way or whatnot, but like they were together for a really long time, I guess, since before they left the homeland and whatnot.
I think they were more than just friends because
probably
for her,
I don't really know
to be the reason everybody had it, and then for her to like caring so much about a bad person.
But they like came from the homelands and started that strip club in the first place to make money and whatnot there, and they've just been doing that ever since. But he
which is really where my playthrough comes in, because they explain that, but not all the stuff you guys were talking about.
I guess you missed it, and they ended up that all that happened, and then you kind of come in after.
I guess, yeah, because pretty much what happens is I get there, her disembodied head, her head is separated, and Georgie's just kind of staring at it, talking to himself, and at first he's just bitter to the end. He's like, I don't want to freaking talk to you, like get away from me, I don't care that I'm dying. And you get a couple different things that you can say. I chose tell me why you did this, because I was just like, bro just probably was like, sorry Charlie, like I can't have you saying nothing, and just ripped it off to kill her. But one of the options was, I mean, you could obviously punch him, but like, I'm punching a man who's dying from a knife wound. That's not cool. And the other one is
more
just
than a knife wound. His guts were hanging out.
Yeah.
Could you see that immediately though, or does it only reveal?
Pretty much, because he was holding it.
He was like holding it, but yeah, there's a scene where it shows you
at the end of it
holding his entrails in. Yeah,
it was rough.
But yeah,
I don't think you realize before then how bad it is. Like you don't 100% know he's gonna die, but then it gets.
I think you kind of figured it is, because everybody else gets shot with guns and they're fine.
I think he's just a normal dude.
Axe to the head.
Which makes you think he's a normal dude, but he's not. He's got his own fairy tale.
It's
and
so
stuff.
weird. Like I guess you can't survive being disemboweled.
There's a certain kill that'll get him quick, or
it's the tummy.
It could have been. It could have been his weapon. He could have had it glamored or something, or some magic or something. Maybe
the tummy was his weak spot. It was like a weak spot. Yeah, it's like a headshot.
That's where his head is.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, there's an option where you can just threaten him and say, "Do you want to end up like her?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I wanted to say it, but
your Big B can be like such an aggressive jerk.
Oh yeah,
mine was not.
So that's when he reveals. He's like, she took her own life. She killed herself. She didn't want to give me up or say anything. And he said something like she wanted to die on her own terms for something good or close to it. And the reason she kills herself is, he says it, she knew it was going to lift the curse once she dies. And he does go into a little bit about kind of the history between them, but Big B's just kind of basically saying like, either I don't believe you, or you didn't have to do anything. Like you didn't have to let her kill herself. Like you could have tried to save her.
Oh.
And then Georgie basically blames the crooked man for everything. But yeah, he does talk about how him and Vivian they kind of came through during the same batch of people, like from the farm to this world, and they just both were, they both kind of identified with each other with the fact that they were, they didn't have anything growing up, and they just, they knew it would be better to have a friend around to try to watch her back in this new and unforeseen situation. So they did kind of get together, and they agreed. I believe it said they both agreed upon once they started this, because they knew they were low lives. They didn't have like a bunch of wisdom on how to start businesses or whatever. They just wanted to make it any way they could, and the easiest way was, she's a pretty girl and he's good with money, so let's basically make a club. And they were, it was her idea. She came up with it. She just wanted to make sure that like their secret could never get out, and it was the easiest way to do it. But at the end, of course, after he reveals all this to you, he does tell you where the crooked man is. He just, for me, he was kind of friendly because I was being friendly-ish with him the whole time.
Yeah.
I basically was just trying to get the information. I was like, and there comes a point where he's like, where you can say something to the effect of, you can do something before you die. Because Georgie's like, listen, we both know I'm dying. Like, there's no way around it. I'm not getting through this. He's like, so just do something for me and get that bum and, go kill him or something. And then while he's talking, like revealing all this to you, Big B just kind of gets this smoldered look, and it's like, do I kill him or do I just let him die? So did you
Yeah, you
guys
get that option.
mercy kill, or did you?
I
let
don't
him?
know. I felt bad killing him.
Mm-hmm.
Because technically you killed him out of self-defense. You didn't really get the option, but it was one of those knife moves where he's trying to stab you, but you kind of like snap the finger real quick and get him in.
Yeah.
It's not like you just took the knife and like ja 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 ja. Like you were. It's one of those quick deflections.
I mean, I hated that it happened, but the dude was like dying.
Yeah,
like,
so I was like, I
on the
don't know.
floor.
Maybe there's a chance he'll come back, but then I saw his bowels, and I'm like, nah.
I just think the game
it's
was
definitely
pointing us that he was dying, like he was gonna die.
It's definitely not like you were holding him up against the wall with one hand full claw, full fur, and then you had to make the choice whether you're going to kill him or not.
Yeah,
not like
that's
happened
like
before.
No, yeah,
yeah. But
who did that?
So I don't know if you answered or if I was just like talking and didn't pay attention. Did you kill him or not?
Yes.
No, I left him. I
No,
let him.
you did kill him, Nathan.
Left.
Nice.
What happens? I would
when
normally
you kill him?
not, but
weird?
Really, you didn't.
I mean, yeah, I get it. No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, you guys just left him to bleed out and just die
slowly.
No,
because I felt bad. I thought maybe this is gonna be the one time where the game is like, yes, kill him. I'm like, nah, maybe somebody will come along after I leave and fix it. I don't want to go back to everybody and be like, I murdered him.
Yeah. See, for me, it was the first time where the dialogue lined up to exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And they even said it the way I did, because I wanted to. The way that they kind of set the situation up was like, if you leave him, you're just doing it to make him suffer almost. And so whenever I was looking at the choices and I was like, I don't want to, like, I want to mercy kill him. Like, I get that. I don't want him to suffer. And I just said to myself, I was like, I'm not a murderer, though. I can't just murder this guy. What I did was an accident, and I'm not gonna just straight up kill him.
For like killing him again.
Yeah.
Like, it's
but
one
you
thing.
did either way, just slower.
So when you walk away, when you walk away, he says something like, I just need you to finish the job. Like, I'm suffering. Blah blah blah. And that was the dialogue choice, and that's exactly how I felt. And he just says, well, I'm not going to become a murderer. This wasn't my fault. I was defending myself. And then he just leaves. And that's
Now I just feel like crap, but
yeah,
it just seemed like the right. It just seemed like the right thing to do for him, because like I don't.
No, I completely get it. I would not blame you in that situation at all.
No, I wouldn't either. And then
this is going to make me look like a D-bag, but I don't want to just murder someone in cold blood. The whole time I've been preaching about, like, don't kill somebody. They gotta go. My whole thing throughout my playthrough was, we've got to give them due justice. Like, if someone gets arrested, we want to give them a trial, and we want to,
there just
come
was
up
no
to a
option
verdict
at that
to figure
point.
out what's going to happen. Yeah.
But like Andrew said, that dialogue was perfect. Like, it's one thing he got stabbed because it was self-defense. Now you're asking me to purposely murder you. And at that point, I'm going to be... There's a difference between self-defense and actually murdering.
I get that. I get what you're saying. And if it was my choice in real life, maybe... I mean, I think it would be much harder. I don't even...
for sure.
But
absolutely, because I would have done the same thing in real life.
I'm also not playing me, and it's a video game, so it's like...
If I was held up in a gunfight and I had my gun, I wouldn't, like, if my family's there and I was protecting somebody, boom, boom, shoot them.
Wouldn't be a thought.
Yeah, it'd be self-defense. But if I shot somebody in a self-defense, and then, like, they're bleeding out and suffering, and then they're like, finish me off, this is painful, then at that point... real life law, you would absolutely be a murderer. Because law nowadays is, if someone attacks you and they walk away and you shoot them with their back to you, you're the aggressor. So it's you'd become the murderer even though you're doing the mercy
not
kill.
Self-defense at that point.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot to it. However,
there is.
The way that it happens is He just, when you choose that option, he just strides towards him and rips his guts out.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Dude,
not
that's
even
not even a mercy kill.
kill.
That's just making him torture, like cut his head off or something,
I was waiting for you to be
Stab him in
like,
the
he
eyes
just
through his brain.
He
like
straight
how
up
he
like
killed the Tweedles.
Just bathing in his innards,
he
man.
dies quickly, but oh my gosh,
He was already
I couldn't
dying quickly at
believe
that
the way
point.
he chose to do that. Anyway,
Typical
that's that.
Telltale fashion. Oh yeah, let me kill him via mercy. Disembowels him and faces him to look at his guts. Like, man, that's rough. But yeah, so after you do that and you leave, I don't remember if there was like any transition, but I'm pretty sure it just cuts to you going to where Georgie said that the Crooked Man was in that kind of warehouse. So he arrives at the foundry. You can see that the car is still there and then it was still warm. So obviously he's there. I looked around for like a solid 10 minutes trying to find a different way into this place rather than
There
the
wasn't.
front door. And there wasn't. Yeah. So you just break the lock. You go through, you see some of the packages, and then they kind of just throw a little bit of scenery in there to kind of make it all come together mentally for you.
Yeah, you kind
so
of
you're
walk through
walking
this like
around.
hallway, and then you walk into this large open area with these huge, like, it almost looks like buckets that would be like filled with metal that would be poured and that sort of thing that are kind of being carried, or they're suspended by like these huge like ceiling cranes and whatnot, and it's just this huge like factory in the interior of it, and all these like metal walkways and whatnot, and you're kind of walking through there, and then you end up hearing Bloody Mary's voice. She just starts talking to you, but you don't see her.
And I think they did really well with that kind of before the whole thing goes down. Yeah, because they're showing you, this was somewhat of their base of operations. So they're showing you all the evidence they've piled up against you and the people that they've taken out and stuff. And that was really cool. And the whole time, Bloody Mary's just being a really good like right hand antagonist, just dogging the mess out of you and just smack talking real good. You can't find her. She's just running around like stabbing you a couple times and stuff. Just really getting under your skin. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. You're right.
Not there
I
yet,
got a little ahead of myself. But yeah, so you walk around and you do get to like a workbench. So you enter through and you can see that like she had made silver bullets, and then it's kind of hitting you. You're like, oh yeah, she's definitely here to kill me. There's no zero way around it. And then the Crooked Man is just there, and he's just like, yeah. So how about them apples, man? Like the weather's great.
Those exact words.
No, that's it. No, he's just basically trying to still make himself look like the good guy in this whole situation.
Yeah, and he doesn't even think like he's gonna die or anything. Like at this point, you don't know what's gonna happen, but he's talking to you like, "I'm leaving. She's gonna be here to take care of you."
Yeah, he's just like, "I gotta go do something. She'll take care of you."
In the neighborhood, give me a call.
This is the HR department he was referring to earlier.
I'm like, bro, you're way too like non-caring. I'm about to mess you up.
Right, nonchalantly. And so he's just like, all right, yeah, so my associate's here. She's gonna, and that's when she comes in, and you try to fight her, and she's just too fast, bro. She's quick, boy. You swipe at her a few times, you miss. She just kind of dog walks you through the park. Just punches you and kicks you, messes you up a bit.
And then it takes you out of that small room that you met, that on the workbench, met with them and whatnot, and then you're back into the main area of the factory, and you just see her. Sorry, you're gonna say that's when?
Yeah, no, that's just when you see her. Like, you see her running around a bit. She's being real shifty, but you can't really get a lock on her, so you're trying to chase her down. Yeah. You try to crawl through some spaces, and she like runs by and jabs you a few times, runs away. And they're setting up the fact that they're like, "Oh yeah, she's fast." No, she's not fast. There's multiple of her, which was interesting.
Yeah, this was crazy.
Yeah, I did not expect that to happen. But we are getting to a point where another Andrew prediction came true. I was super happy about that. But I also thought, sidebar, whenever they do get to the point where she kind of reveals her fable version of herself, her like super form to actually kill people, that was pretty cool. She's got all these like glass shards
terrifying.
out. Yeah, and like you get like
She's,
her
like,
bones are
shaking,
just
like-
made of glass. Yeah,
Like it's
chittering.
it's really kind of terrifying to look at.
yeah, it is. And for some reason, she just decides, I guess I don't need these silver bullets. Maybe a slight
Yeah,
plot
I don't
hole
know.
because she definitely made them.
I think she just thinks she's too cool. She's like, I'm going to do it the
Yeah.
cool way, and then leads
Going
into
down
the
'cause of
most
hubris.
intense action scene of the entire game, of many games.
Oh yeah,
I've
there's
played.
like 50 of her, and they're all just like glass versions of herself, and they look identical. She
And-
just kind of
yeah.
looks like, she looks like I don't know, like a vampire spawn or something. She's got like blood coming from
Imagine
her
like
eyes.
a weird like vampire, and then shove a bunch of random shards of glass into them, and then also give them bad Tourette's.
Oh yeah, and one of our mothers knows exactly how that feels. But
That's
so
mine.
yeah, she's jumping you, and you're like, you transform into your like werewolf form or whatever,
You finally
and
enter
you're still getting beat up. Yeah.
Yep.
And then eventually she gets a couple good shots on you, and Bigby, they all, like a bunch of them jump on top of you and dog pile. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is it. If you're going to go full wolf, this is it. You go now, bro.
Entering the ring!
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Booming thunder appears. Not really, but like you just turn into a huge wolf. You start just mowing down, and every time you bite into someone,
I
they
was
like
not
break into a bunch
expecting
of
that.
glass.
He was like an
I had a
8-foot tall
feeling-
wolf. He was enormous.
I didn't expect him to be that big, but like the
I
fairy
thought
tale
maybe
did.
like a werewolf, 10 feet tall, but he
The
turned
fairy
into
How's he
tale
gonna get out of
look-
the factory?
That's the thing. Like they definitely showed us that he was like massive.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to chapter 1 and you look at the fairy tale book, dude's huge. Like he's like 5 times the size of the woodsman. He's just
Yeah,
massive.
It's
Which
intense.
makes it all the more better that the woodsman like took him out. Now looking back on it, because like he fought this and technically won at some point by himself.
Yeah,
And he don't got
basically,
multiple copies.
the tides really turn once he becomes the big bad wolf, and he just starts like just biting them all in his big jaws and breaking them all into these shards of glass, and he ends up, well, getting into he let's just say he ends up blowing their houses down.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I was like, this is so like
It
it's
was it was great.
it was like campy, but
Right?
well done.
Right?
Because I'm like he's just sitting there. I'm like, oh, he's gonna roar or something, and then I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna blow them away. Like literally, this is his thing.
Yep.
He's big, bad, scary, a
I
wolf,
wasn't
and he
expecting
blows
it,
houses
but
down.
I was happy that
wasn't,
it happened.
And I should have. Like it was
Right?
very clear as day, but we did not pay attention enough. Apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, he just blows a bunch of them away, shatter, chomps them down, all the goods. And at that point, Josh, you've been a little quiet. I've been talking a bit too much. So you confront the crooked man. How's that go for you?
I'm very curious. How
What
did
happened?
you basically you ended up
Yeah, it's been a while since we played. So
You're good.
she turns into the multiple people.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
then the gigantic wolf starts blowing them away, biting them in half.
Mhm.
So all of the different ones disappear, and then finally you
She's-
catch the real
yeah.
one and
Mhm.
kill her.
Do you? I don't remember.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
choice.
Because she breaks
Yeah.
into the crystal, and she's
That was
over.
it. Okay.
Mhm.
Shoot, I don't remember.
You really just turn back into. I don't know if
We-
much time passed, but you just turn back into Big B,
Yeah,
and you walk. You see
he's
see
still in the
him
building or something. ain't he?
trifling around trying to get stuff or something, like filing
And
cabinets
he's like
and stuff.
surprised that like she didn't
Yeah.
take care of it.
Yeah, and that's when you walk in on him. He has a gun, which hey, there's the plot hole. He's got the silver rounds just in case.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And
Yeah.
he keeps like pointing the gun at you, but like he won't pull it for some reason. The whole time he's like thinking, he's like, listen, take me in. Basically, give me a jury of my peers and let the town decide. Like, you can't just kill me. Like
He's
you
that
know,
confident in swaying them with his smooth
Yes.
talking.
And the
his
whole time-
charisma stat is just stellar.
And exactly
Yep.
what got sent in the podcast, I kept thinking like, I was told to bring it back. Snow told me to bring him back alive. I was like, I didn't kill Georgie. As much as I want to kill the Crooked Man now, I don't think it's gonna
don't-
come out good if I kill him.
You
So
alone don't make that decision.
I
Yeah.
grabbed him up because I think you can like try to kill him. One
Yeah,
option.
Yeah,
And
there's
then- yeah.
I know initially when he's pointing the gun at you, you can interrupt him with that quick time event to like grab him or something. But he just kind of fires a warning shot and he's like, I'm
Yes,
telling you,
next
the next
time
time
I
I
won't
won't
miss.
miss, Chief. Yeah.
And I think you get to the point where you shove him up the wall and you're like this up against him. And like you can just like, all right, the next time like you select kill him again, you're gonna kill him. But then it's like, or do you want to take him in? So he goes to like he's gonna kill the Crooked Man, and then all of a sudden he stops and then turns him around. He goes, "You're under arrest."
Oh, I didn't even get to that point. I just I kept telling him I'm going to take him in, and he's just like, you basically like tell him like, I'm taking you in, I'll take you up on it, but that's what it was. You say, well, you're gonna have to give me your gun. He said, I don't, or he basically just, he's like, I'm gonna hold on to that, and so you just quick time event grab it from him, and it's pretty funny because he just doesn't.
That's it. Yeah.
He doesn't.
Really?
Fire
He doesn't
again.
do anything?
You just grab it. It's pretty funny actually.
He's like, ow, 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 my arm.
Well, actually, I think you knock it out of his hands, but it's just he didn't use it, so. It was,
Yeah, I didn't. I don't even know if I pinned him against the wall
No,
because
I
I
didn't
was
either.
like, yeah,
No,
I
that's
was
what I'm
just-
saying. You could get multiple, like you could be like try to kill him, but then when you click it, it doesn't actually kill him. Then it goes to another
So you
part.
did
but
that?
It's kind of like I was thinking about like I'm gonna mess him up, and then when you go to do it, he puts him up against the wall, and it gives you another option.
I
Like,
see.
do you really want to do this?
And then it like shows
I
you.
wonder
see.
what would have happened if you did just straight
I'm
up murk
curious.
him.
yeah,
I'm wondering if he
change
would
a
have
lot.
survived or not. Yeah. But yeah, so obviously none of us killed him and we brought him in. And of course, he's got to make a snide comment. He's like, I'm glad you're bringing me in, buddy. Like, I know that I'm going to get away with this now, type of deal.
Yep.
Oh, such an annoying guy. So next, they jump to you take him to the Witching Well area.
Mhm.
And it's just to, all the fairy tales, if you've pretty much met up to this point in the game, are there. All the ones that are alive, that is.
Beast.
So the ones that you've
Beauty,
really had
Anti-Greenleaf,
interactions with.
Yeah.
Beast, Beauty, Anti-Greenleaf, Bluebeard, Snow.
Which I am kind of
Few
interested
others.
as to what happens, because I know I had something that happened that you
Oh.
guys wouldn't have had happen,
Gren
because
and
I still had Prince Edward alive.
I still can't
Prince Lawrence,
believe
rather.
from episode
So-
1, like he could still be alive all this time if you went there first. I'm
Hey,
so sad about it.
what's his face was missing an arm. None of you had that happen.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, he also the other guy is missing his life now, Josh. So can't find that anywhere. But yeah, so you walk in, you see that Snow's
Not
there, and she kind of
today.
gathered everybody. Throughout there, you're kind of just poking and prodding along the Crooked Man. The Crooked Man's doing his thing, and he's like, I already informed the sheriff that Georgie Porgy was the killer, not me. So, and then he's like trying to turn it on you to try to make everyone think that you killed Georgie, like on purpose. And he's like, yeah, so Georgie's dead. You should ask the sheriff how that happened. And yeah, so
What do you
I'm
say
just
to
like,
that?
listen. So I basically was like, dude, you were there. He kind of attacked me, and I just defended myself.
Yeah, that's basically all you end up saying is
Yeah.
you tell the group, hey, there was a fight, he attacked me. That's really it.
Yeah. Though after that, Snow White tries to read his charges to him, trying to go about like justice the right way and have some form.
Yeah.
And you have the option to like say a couple things or just let her read him what happened, what he's being charged for. I just let it go because
I
I'm
did too. I let her read
basically
it.
at this point I understand that I did enough as sheriff and I brought him in, and my job was to bring him in, and that was it. So I'm gonna let them do their thing. That's kind of the big thing. Like the poorer or the destitute of the fables are always complaining that like they don't get their fair chance.
They
And
don't
that's
get a
why-
vote, they
yeah.
don't get, yeah.
So I was just like, I'm gonna let everybody kind of get their say in, let
Like,
them
put
have
it
their
up to a vote,
opinions.
right?
Yeah. Which I did choose that eventually.
Yeah.
But
Oh, we're not there yet. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So at that point, the crooked man is doing everything in his power to sway the crowd, and Homeboy's winning. I don't know if that's a choice based on what you said.
He was winning
Or
for
not.
me too.
But-
But no, it was for me. It was
For a
back and
bit.
forth. The beginning,
it was
the
back and
crowd
forth,
wanted
but-
him murdered,
Mhm.
and
Well,
then
not
he
everyone
gave
in the
us-
crowd was swayed, but like he was swaying a good few of them.
For the most part,
Yeah.
most of the crowd was like down the witching well, and then
Mhm.
he would say a couple things, and they're like, "Well, no, not the witching well. We need to put him in prison." And like, well, maybe he's right. Like, it kept going back and forth, and it was very long and drawn out.
And at this point, since I am reading from a synopsis, it does say that if you killed Tweedledum in a previous episode, he apparently brings that up and tries to sway the crowd against you with
Yeah.
it.
Really?
Hmm.
That's interesting. Keep talking.
Yeah, but he
Yes.
called. Yeah, because I'm the only one that killed Tweedledum. He calls you a
Yeah.
murderer because you call
Ooh.
him a murderer for killing the other two, and he's like, "Well, what about the sheriff?"
Yeah.
Killing what's his face, and then you're like, "That was self-defense,"
So
And
you
every-
just lie.
and everybody was like, "Yeah, that was self-defense."
That was self-defense. Yeah, sounds good. Bigby wouldn't do that, even though the whole game they're like, Bigby would always do that. We don't trust him. Yeah. So for me, there was something that happened. I wonder because I can't remember. It's been a couple weeks since I. Oh no, they don't go over it. Okay, so I'll have to
I finished it
do my
like
best to remember it.
2 hours ago. 2.5 hours. No, 4.5.
So
4
for
hours
me,
ago.
he starts bringing up he brings up faith pretty early on, and that he didn't have anything to do with it. It was Georgie. He killed everybody. And Prince Edward comes forward, and he's kind of or Prince Lawrence rather comes forward for me, and he's the one who kind of sways everybody to realize that the
Interesting.
crooked man is behind this. And he's like, my wife had to go to live a life of prostitution to try to do the best thing for me. And if it wasn't for Bigby here actually giving a crap about me, I would have killed myself. And-
Really? Because I
Yeah.
had a completely different person
Mhm.
intervene.
Okay, no, hold on. Does Narissa come in for you?
yeah,
For me, yes.
eventually. Yeah.
So
Okay, well,
they just
then
had an
I-
extra person. just
yeah.
had-
For me, I didn't have anybody stand up like the prince
Yeah.
then until Narissa came in at the end.
Gotcha. And so like everyone's kind of back and forth and they're like, well, that does make sense. And you kind of Gren, because he's like kind of chummy with me and still has both arms, he kind of comes to my defense a little bit and is just like, yeah, I mean, he's like, nobody would do anything for Holly, but Bigby
Well, and it
actually
kept
cared.
He got blamed on Snow White too because Auntie Greenleaf was like, "She tried to burn down my tree,"
Yeah.
and the
And
wolf
that was
stopped her.
That was the next tipping point where it does say that like he's starting to win the crowd over again
Yeah.
because depending on what you did, I didn't burn the tree.
I didn't
So
either.
and so she's like, for me, you could tell that it was kind of copy
Yeah, but-
pasted in there a little quickly
Yeah,
because all she really does is just say she's like, well, because he says, and what did Bigby do when he found your tree and you were making these glamours illegally? And she was like, well, Bigby actually offered me a job. And then she just stands there silent for a second. She's like, but Snow White wanted to burn my tree down. So then everyone's like, oh man, Snow White was on a tirade. Like, she's power hungry. We don't like her. Like, maybe the crooked man's right.
okay.
And,
I broke the dryer.
oh boy,
Oh,
someone's in
me.
trouble. It was Levi. But, so at that point, Auntie Greenleaf's like, oh, well, she's kind of the only one that really seemed swayed by him at this point for me. But Beauty and the Beast are like, oh, well, you put us in debt, and the Crooked Man's response is he's like, you kind of put yourself in debt. Like, you don't have to have these nice things, but
Was that really
you wanted them,
me?
so yeah, you wanted them, and you came to me for money, so you signed the fine line.
Yep.
But yeah, so which maybe it's because I had a couple different things happen, but Bluebeard was surprisingly silent most of this time. Like most of the Josh, you're muted if you're talking to us. Okay, no, he's not. but yeah, so like most of the game, Bluebeard's just over there like always expressing himself, and when it comes time to actually put the brass tacks, he's pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just the greasy wheel, and he wants he wants himself to look good. And that's really kind of all he looks for. And he's like, well, I guess I'm assuming he just thinks that he can't make himself look like he's on top in this situation, so he's just going to keep silent. That's
that
kind of
whole time he was I was surprised as well. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have very many speaking lines in that entire scene.
Yeah, because everyone else really seemed to stay in character, though. What's her name? The bartender. I can't remember her name.
Holly.
Oh, it is Holly? I thought Holly was the sister. I don't know.
Holly, no. The sister.
I can't remember her name.
Lily.
Yeah, okay. So Holly, yeah. Holly's there, and she's always, what she said from the beginning, her and Gren, they're sticking behind it. They're like, yeah, like, he's been there for us. Like, we should kill this guy. Like, he's a horrible person. Beauty and the Beast are kind of like timid and not doing too much, but like when they get attacked, they're like, oh, well, we're just doing what we can. The Butcher was 100% in character. He was not trying to say a thing until everyone else like had their opinion. He's just like, well, yeah, I agree with them because I don't want to make a wave, and I just don't, I want to see how this plays out, basically, because I don't want to be on the wrong end and end up, supporting the wrong person, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so at that point, that's when Narissa interrupts. And how does that go, Nathan?
She like barges in the room and just like walks right up to them and just basically just starts denouncing the Crooked Man and saying that he was the reason behind all of this and that he caused all of this. And then she says that she was in the room when he gave the order to kill Faith or both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, she does mention, she's like, yeah, I was there. You bet you don't remember me, though. And he did.
Yep.
He had no clue who she was.
Yep.
But she's just laying into him. You had us enslaved, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she straight up said that, yep.
And then everyone's kind of like, there's a couple people that are, feeling a different way. For me, I think it was pretty much just Anti-Greenleaf who was like, oh, we don't have to kill him. You can do what you did with me. Like, we can, just put him in jail or something. But yeah, there was like, I think the three options were essentially kill him, throw him down the witching well, or put him in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
And so at that point, everyone was like, well, we don't know what to do. We're kind of conflicted. We need to figure out what to do. And Snow White's like, well, I don't know what to do. And Gren's immediately like, who made you in charge? He was not having it. He's like, this guy needs to die. He's like, you even wanted to kill him. Don't give me that.
And then basically they end up putting it up to you to decide who or you it gives you an option to make a decision, and you can either be like, let Snow decide. You can say, I'm going to decide, or you can say, we'll put it up to a vote.
Yeah, I put it up to a vote personally.
I did too.
Josh,
apparently that's the way they do things. So
yeah,
I don't remember if I put up to a vote or not.
Well, I did. And everyone was just like, I can't make this decision. And then they ended up. Who's the one who said that?
I think it's Anti-Greenleaf. Yeah, because she was like, "Isn't he the only official person on this case, or something?"
Like the person that has the actual power to make these decisions, or something like that. Because they don't really have like a full like governing body there with like everything.
Yeah,
they would need, I think.
Which now that you mention it, that was pretty well done too. That I didn't notice that like this really is kind of a fly by the seat of their pants moment, because their governor or mayor or whoever was in charge is out of town.
Yeah.
The other guy that was in charge is crooked as a straight, as a circle, and he's all sorts of messed up in the head, and they're like, so it's really down to these two, and everyone's, at this point, Snow was just ousted for being power hungry and murderous, and so they're like, well, we don't trust her, so I guess it's Big B. I tried to put it up to a vote, and they were like, well, no, you're going to make this decision because we're all scared too.
The game really
which then leads. Oh, yeah, for sure. Which then, of course, leads to the big decision. You can, quote, rip his head off.
Hold on.
Throw him down the well, or lock him up.
Before that, I'm sorry. I think this is important. Before you get to that point, wait, Does it let you choose that? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I think I cut you off. I forgot it asked you that twice. Okay, continue.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
he-
yeah,
Crooked Man does
because
something.
yeah, he does. So you get that choice immediately. I'm
Rip his head
guessing.
off, throwing down the witching well, or toss him
Oh,
in
you know
jail.
what? Yeah. So what did you guys pick initially, at least?
Throw him in jail.
Throw him in jail. What'd you pick,
Throw him
Josh?
down the well.
That's what I chose too. Was going down the well.
Interesting.
Because I chose it because that had seemed to be throughout the game the that was the punishment for a capital crime, was throwing him down the witching well. And again, I've been trying to be like justice mode, like I am trying to do this by the book type of deal. So that's what I chose. Apparently, if you agree to rip his head off, this says that it'll scare all the other fables. They'll agree that throwing him down the well was the proper thing to do, and locking him up forever wouldn't have been as bad. So I don't know if you kill him, but apparently you scare the crap out of everybody if you
That's
just decide
awesome.
to rip his head off. Yeah.
So when you make that decision, you go to announce that decision.
And the Crooked Man's like, nah, fam, I ain't going out this way. Yanks up Bigby. Somehow, this frail little guy gets the jump on you. And, he's like, I don't remember what he says, but he was saying some nonsense like, I'm not going to go out this way. Yap, yap, yap. And then you get that choice again, I'm pretty sure, right?
Well, because
to, like, just
you
kill
end up
him.
like you end up fighting with him for a second. You get in a little bit of a tussle, and then you end up throwing him backward toward the well, and then you're holding him over the well, and then it gives you that option again.
Well, you're gonna tussle because he, like, while you're trying to decide, he tries
comes
to
up
take
and grabs
advantage
you
of
and throws you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he drags
And
you,
then at that
kind of
point-
starts dragging you backward toward the well, like he's going to throw you in or something.
Yeah. I was gonna pick it anyways because I was like, I was throwing well in the make this quicker. But so that's what I do. Throw him in the well. Josh, did you throw him in the well?
I was going to.
Ooh.
I tried. I was gonna throw him in the well, and then while you're trying to decide, he drags you over to the well, and then you kind of like maneuver out of his chokehold, and then you get to pick again what you want to do. And then I was like, I put him in prison.
I did too.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I sent him packing. He's dead. Crooked Man, you knew the price for what you did. Everybody knew that, like, if there's a way to do the death penalty, this is the only time it's acceptable.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? Judge, jury, and executioner. Boom, threw him down the well. He's gone. And while I think it was the right decision in the moment, I do struggle with that. Is a struggle that I've always had as a Christian, is like the whole death penalty thing. That's something that always weighed heavy on me because, I can definitely see both sides, and there's scripture to support both, I believe, on whether you fall behind it or not. So
that is hard.
For me, I was just like, I don't want to, but at the same time, for me, it really came down to like, how many people is this going to affect if this guy gets away and survives? And I was like, well, no sense in risking it.
That was kind of my thinking too. Like, he just easily talked himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody, when you first showed up, everybody was like, murder him. And
it's clearly in his nature that he'll do
5 minutes. He's got the crowd like kind of on his side.
At least understanding his point.
This
is the guy that manipulated all these people for like their entire lives here.
Yep.
And he was about to get away with it because everyone was just being sheep, and you have to be the wolf. I did that on purpose.
Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah.
When's your next book coming
out?
Tonight, and that was not one of them.
Wow. So next scene, since I'm not a comedian anymore, no. So that's what happens. I throw him down the well, and at that point, Gren, he's like, "Dang right, man. He deserved it. He knew what he did." Holly's like, "That's right. Like, you looked out for us. We appreciate it. This guy isn't going to take advantage of anyone anymore." And then it cuts to the next scene, which the next scene, you get to see Flycatcher again. That dude looks like, when I see him, he's just a stoner through and through. That's the only thing I think
he's Shaggy.
When did we see him
is Shaggy.
Because when they said his name, I was like, oh, this is a new person.
I thought we saw him before.
I talked about him.
Maybe we didn't.
Because
See, I thought Flycatcher
I
was,
went
was
to the
frog.
Tweedle apartments or the Tweedle
See, we did it.
workplace or whatever, and he
Oh,
was
that's
there
why. Yeah,
cleaning,
yeah.
and then you end up offering him a job, but you guys never actually had an experience with him.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I think that must have been what I was thinking of, remembering you say that. But he's definitely Shaggy for sure. But he's just like, I'm gonna go get the truck. Like, we're going to the farm soon. I thought you might want to know, dude. I don't know. And so he goes to leave, and Snow's just like, bro, this idiot left his keys. Can you give them to him? So they force you. Oh, I was like, oh, maybe I won't have to see off Toad because I sent Toad to the farm. And I was like, maybe I want to. No, they weren't letting me get away with that. They gave me the guilt
You know what's
and
annoying?
the hypocrisy. What?
I gave Toad money for his the illegal
glamour?
money for his glamour, and he gets sent to the farm. Still, that doesn't change.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
Dang.
That guy straight up
Money.
used it on cocaine.
So technically, at the end
He
of the
did.
game, I had the most money, right?
I guess, yeah. I had none. I was broke the whole time.
Yeah. Well, you end up
but
giving
yeah, so
Faith
you
some money
go-
at the beginning, and then you end it's like you just don't have money.
And then that was it.
Maybe
Yeah,
you
but
got a
I stole
paycheck
money
at some
Took all my
point.
money.
times after.
I better have gotten a paycheck at some point. Because, geez,
Yeah.
man's living in a tiny apartment.
But
with a pig.
basically, you see off Toad, and he's obviously very angry, and he's just like, he's just mad in general. And the situation, the fact that he has to go to the farm, and then his poor son is with him, and his poor son's all
Listen.
sad and scared, and all right,
At the end of the game, they had the list of statistics again.
98.5.
It was something like 98%. Yeah, people were just like
98.5% of the people
it's
took
insane.
his gift. 1.5% of people said, "Oh, that's a weird gift.
They
I'm not going to
looked
give
that
that to
poor
Snow."
guy in the face and was like,
Poor little
No.
child, this little kid that just loves
"You cannot."
Snow one day was over there, took an interest in his bug collection, and he
And that's
he
all he
thought of her
remembers.
to.
Yeah, he was just like, "She's such a sweet person."
Who
I'm
is
just an
going
innocent
out
little
here
kid.
telling this little kid that he's not going to give this gift to Snow?
Josh, you're not
1.5% of
talking. What'd you
players.
do? Were you the 1.5%?
No, I took the gift.
That'd be
I'm
messed
glad
up.
Josh isn't a heartless man.
No, he just
Good for
walked off
you.
Tiny Tim. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, that was just as bad. But yeah, so you can agree to that. And for me, because I didn't send Colin, did either of you send Colin to the farm?
Gippy was too slow. Yeah, I sent Colin to the farm.
You did. So how's that
At
work
the end
out?
of the game,
He gets in the front seat of the pickup truck.
Does
and
he?
He's like, yeah, he kind of like upset with you, and then you got to light the same scene that always happens with you and Colin. You got to light a cigarette, and then he
Mhm.
kind of looks and he goes, "You got another one of those?" And it gives you the option to not give him one, to give him
This is
one, or give
awesome.
him the whole pack. And I'm like, I got to. So I gave Colin the
Give
whole
him the whole
pack.
pack. Yeah.
And he grabs it with his hoof. So I'm like, all right, that was dumb.
Yeah, and which means the whole time he could have lit his cigarette the whole time
Yeah.
because
He's just
he
lazy.
Like every
has these
time we give him a
magic thumbs.
cigarette,
Yeah,
you gotta light it for him, and all of a sudden you just hand him a whole pack.
and he's just like, okay,
okay, listen. Colin was not in the final scene for me.
me neither.
Oh shoot. Okay,
So
so
I didn't send him.
where was it when he leaves the apartment and walks away? What scene was that? Like, when was that?
That
It was near the very
when
end.
you were walking into the office, I believe.
Okay,
Like,
so
I think it was. Yeah,
wasn't that your apartment that he walks out of?
yeah.
Basically-
It was like we were leaving the office, I think, and he walks past.
He like walks past you out of your apartment. You're like, Colin, you're gonna get seen, and he just kind of looks at you and winks.
He's
and
just
just
like-
keeps walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, like exactly that. What is he holding in his mouth though?
Probably
Like,
a cigarette. I don't
like,
remember.
I don't remember what he was holding, but he was like carrying something, and he just walks away. You don't see him again. And when Toad ends up going, like they're about to leave, he says, "Yeah, well, whatever. What happened to Colin?" And
Yeah,
you
isn't he
just,
supposed to be
you just
here?
get an option.
I was just like,
I'm like, I tell him, why am I supposed to know?
I said the same thing. I'm like, how would I know?
Wink,
Why
wink.
would I know where he's at?
I don't know what that
And he's
dude
like-
ran off and did,
And
but
the eye roll from Toad, dog. He
That was
so
powerful.
disappointed. It was. if looks could kill, you'd be dead.
Poor Toad
Yeah,
thinking that
yeah.
you're just letting this one guy stay, but not him. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. And
I love
imagine
Toad.
TJ, man.
First of all, before we get into the juicy ending,
Mm-hmm.
I needed Bluebeard to be worse than he was.
Me
Yeah,
too.
while you
They
were
made
This game
Bluebeard-
could have been fine without Bluebeard. He didn't
Yeah.
need to be in this.
He didn't really.
if they
do
would have done
anything.
something with him at the end, it would have been different. But yeah, we were talking about that when you were talking to Megan, just like how he was kind of out of character that whole time. Like he wasn't speaking up or standing up for himself, and he was the only one who seemed like, everyone else was pretty much sticking to their laurels for what they said the whole
Yeah, but
game. And
he almost seemed like he could have been such a bad character.
think he was
in the
just a
game.
jerk.
Like I almost
Yeah.
thought he was the one behind all of it,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden,
Because
like,
Sometimes I had a feeling he was part of it, but
he was nothing.
which I'm wondering if, since apparently the second game is going to be coming out at some point, I'm wondering if
It already
maybe they'll
came out,
touch on
didn't it?
that.
I wonder too.
Did it?
I thought it.
Did it already?
I thought
If it
was
came
coming
out, I
right
missed it,
after
and I'm highly upset.
what?
Okay, well,
Cool.
while he looks that up, I think we move on to the ending here because it's getting pretty late.
Okay, and you definitely fall into one of two camps, and I will explain where I fall into eventually. But
Oh no, it's still scheduled to be released this year.
gotcha. So yeah, so you see Narissa as you're just kind of walking along the street, and she's just like, "Oh,
Real quick, sorry,
you're leaving town.
Narissa's
Go
the
ahead."
Little Mermaid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she knows you're leaving town. She's like, I thought if I came to clean Georgie, he'd, get the crooked man to leave us alone. She explains this whole thing about how her, Faith, I think Holly, I don't know if Holly was part of it, but basically her and Faith, like, were
No, it
trying to
was
come up
two
with
of them.
something.
It was,
It was
her,
two of
Faith,
them, and they
and
brought
Lily.
her in.
Yeah, but they were going to
Yeah,
end
Lily,
up trying.
I keep messing that
They
up.
were going to try and basically get away.
Yeah.
Like basically go off and like get away from their life at the club, and you can continue if you want. I was just jumping.
Yeah,
in.
so she explains that whole thing once more, kind of what happened. And she admits that she just lied, which is, I was like, you lied? What did you lie about? Because, like, if this is a crucial piece of evidence, like,
I felt terrible.
my big B was no, because that swayed. I was all about due process the whole time.
You
Due
killed him
process, he
for
got
nothing.
caught. Yeah, exactly. I was like, dog, I just killed this man, and
That's the first
he
thing I
should have
thought
been
of. Like,
fine.
I almost tried to kill the dude, and
I
the
didn't
reason would have
almost.
been
I did.
because you lied.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, oh man,
It was like
you
one of
gotta
those
be
things,
kidding me.
like you lied that you were there, but at the same time, it's still kind of the truth because he pretty much still did everything she said, but at the same time, she lied like she.
Yeah,
was,
and that's her whole thing. Is she's like, listen, like
we know he did it.
it wasn't the full truth, and we all know he did it, but I was not letting him walk. And I was just like, dang, man, that screwed me
Let's
over
mention
hard.
what she lied about.
Yeah, so she lied about the fact
Everything.
that pretty much, like,
Well, I guess.
the main thing she lied about was that she was there and like heard the confession, and that was the turning point for the case. Was like, oh well, we have an eyewitness. Like, there's nothing, there's no question anymore.
Like,
so
it
the
wasn't-
eyewitness account was
the
just
crooked
gone.
man wasn't the one to do it. He still ordered it, from my understanding.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, he still ordered it. But
She basically made it out to be that he was the one. He was in the room, and she just came in to like, she lied about that when it was like just Georgie or whatnot. Was that the case?
yeah, there was a scene when you first talked to her before she reveals this that you see that she still has the ribbon on, and
Yeah.
I definitely went to take it off because I thought it was like one of those like
I tried to take it
you
off her
don't-
too.
yeah, because I was like, I think she's just scared to do it herself, and that might be
Which
why she
makes
came to see me.
sense. Like, you can say that the curse is broken, but still
But,
threat your
yeah.
whole time that, like, if you
Mhm.
pull the ribbon off your head, it gets cut
So I
off.
thought it was going to be this whole like nice moment, of, like he takes it super happy or something, or super thankful.
I didn't try
But
to
yeah.
do that.
I mean, at this point, I already murdered
I
one
thought it was
innocent
gonna be
man.
a
If I
sweet
murder
moment.
another innocent woman, that's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd say he's innocent, but
He's not innocent, but
Yeah.
on a technical level, you killed someone off of someone's lie.
yeah.
False testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The evidence that killed
See,
him was a lie.
Prison means that you can re-examine evidence and do something about it later.
Oh,
but-
and we never got to it, Andrew.
Hmm.
You actually see, so for us, because we didn't murder a partially innocent person, which you guys made fun of all the choices I made, and Andrew technically
That's fair,
made one
man.
of the
That's fair.
worst
Yep.
choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know what his prison sentence is?
What?
Auntie Greenleaf turned him into, what was it, a bird?
Oh, right. I forgot. A
And
crow.
stuck him in a bird cage. And they took that to the farm.
What?
Yeah.
I couldn't
She's
believe
like,
it.
she's
I
like,
can't believe I
figured
forgot
we
about
needed
that.
to figure out a way so he wouldn't
Wow.
talk.
And that's poetic justice too, because
Yeah.
that was his fairy tale.
It was awesome.
You know, he found a crow, found a cat. Peace
Yep.
out.
I
Man,
thought that was awesome.
awesome. Yeah. So
Anyway.
at this point, I'm thinking, man, that's the big twist of the game. Was like she lied the whole time. Oh, she also does reveal that she was the person that placed Faith's head in front of the apartment building.
Yeah, to get
him
him
in
on
the
the case
case.
in the first
Yeah.
place. Which, like,
And that
fair.
was-
I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah.
The horrible thing to have to do, but like, fair.
I get it.
It
but
makes
so
sense. It kind of
she's-
ties up that loose end because, like, why would
Mhm.
why would Georgie have done that or whatnot? So
Mhm. No doubt.
Yeah.
ties up that loose ribbon. Sorry.
So if my big B was like, so that piece of fabric was your blue jeans, and he kind of
Yeah.
looks down. He's like, makes sense, man. I can't believe I didn't see it. But yeah, so she admits that, and she goes to leave. And what does she say? Because it was like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
What
I
does she
forget what
say that-
she says something walks off, and it's like,
She says you're not nearly as bad as everyone makes you out to be. I'm
No,
pretty
that's
sure.
Yeah,
all she
which is
says.
there was something else I think too, but it was exactly what Faith said. The exact words is the point.
she
And-
said something like there might be more to the whole crooked man situation. As she
But yeah,
walked away.
She
And
says
then it
something.
gave you the option to like
Yeah.
chase her down or
Like follow
Walk
after
away.
her
Or let her
or let her
go.
leave.
Yep.
And I tried to chase after her, but I'm sure they both do
Andrew,
the same
can you
thing. And just cut
Google
the
what
black.
her final words were?
Yeah, I can do
Does
that.
it say on that synopsis?
No, it didn't there,
We're
but
running very late though, so after that we're gonna move right
We got
on.
time. We were also very late to starting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're still like, we were late to starting, but this episode's already over 2 hours.
yeah, I'm not finding anything immediately.
might be
But
our
yeah,
longest one.
she just says something. Just says something to give you the final twist.
Yeah.
And this is where I was saying that I think you fall in one of two camps earlier. And it's either the fact that Narissa was Faith the whole time, glamored as Faith. And that's Narissa's head that was killed, that was on the porch. Or the opposite, that was
Wait,
Faith
where does
and
this come
Narissa was
from?
glamored. Because of the ending.
Off of her final words, but that's what
Yeah.
we're having trouble.
Yeah.
I missed something.
That's where I wish I could find it.
Oh, and that would make, I mean, if that's what it's
'Cause-
trying to imply, that would make sense as to her using the same words as Faith did then.
Yeah. And so let's see. Oh yeah, so she says you're not as bad as everyone says you, which isn't exactly a subtle nod to her Faith's last words that he heard from her. Those are the exact words that she used. And then she like kind of smiles and walks away.
Wait, that's all
So-
that leads toward that thought?
Yeah, because they have that montage of like Faith saying those same words, and then Narissa says it, and they replay it again,
Oh, yeah.
and then you see Big B's eyes go wide, and they're just like
All right, here,
they're
here,
trying
here.
to plant that
After
in
Big
you.
B has defeated the infamous Crooked Man and has broken up the crime ring, he has one more conversation with Narissa, who
Mhm.
has been leading him through the investigation throughout the series. As she turns to leave, she says, "You're not as bad as everyone says you are." And this triggers a usual suspect style realization montage as
Yeah.
our hero makes a series of connections between his informant and Faith. The woman's who death all the way back in the first episode set him on the path for the rest of the series. See, Faith said exactly the same thing at the end of her conversation with Bigby in Faith. And this has fans wondering if the whole case was even more complicated than they thought. Specifically, that Faith and Narissa are the same person at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's wild. That's Crackpot theory
Yeah,
to the max.
so which is
There's
why I
stuff
love
all over Reddit for it.
But I kind of fall under the camp that we never saw Narissa the whole time. It was just Faith glamored as Narissa because
Would that
that's
mean
too much
Narissa
of a
had died at the beginning?
Yes. So that's what I think, because they can obviously use glamours and they still take effect on a dead body. We saw that ourselves.
Yeah, but here's that's my problem with that though. Is yes, the glamour worked on that dead body, but during the autopsy, not the autopsy, but while you were looking over the clothing and stuff, she transformed back into the ogre. So why wouldn't the head have transformed?
That we also were given examples that was a faulty, like a cheaply
Glamour.
made
Yeah.
glamour.
So
Also,
Faith
the reason
would've
why
been-
and the reason why I suggest that it was Faith the whole time is when you are revealed Faith's fairy tale in the beginning. You know, she wore that like donkey skin cloak so that no one could like find her.
Mhm.
We see two things that the mirror shows us. The first thing that we see is, you know, after you learn about her father, you can go back and talk to the mirror again. Or if you just learned about it first, you can go to the mirror and you can ask where her father is, because, you know, he was disgusting. He was a bad man. So he was kind of a suspect. And you see the mirror shows like his dead body, his bones, like in a grave or something. So you see that the mirror has the ability to see someone that's dead. However, when you ask the mirror where Faith is, he just goes with the same incantation. He can't see them. He can't see her. And that, you know, which is why it's led to believe that that could be her the whole time, because anyone else that's dead, he can still see. But for some reason, he can't locate her. And in her fairy tale, the whole time, that's kind of her thing, is she can't be seen if she doesn't want to be. Like, that's her superpower or whatever.
That's
almost.
crazy.
So
do
I
you
kind
think
of fall
she's
under the
trying to
camp.
set something up?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't decide whether like maybe she did this because this was her way to fulfill the bargain between her and Narissa, because Narissa died trying to
Escape.
Yeah, trying to escape, or you know, something to that effect. But either that or she was manipulating her the whole time, and I can't understand which one it is, because they leave it up to interpretation so much that that could be the next game is, you know, you find out that it's Faith and she's been kind of, you know, we thought the crooked man was pulling strings and she's really pulling strings. What did you think about the ending though, Nathan? We'll move on. I don't think you really said anything much about it.
I don't think he really realized.
I guess I
It's
just
possible.
I somehow just missed something there. I don't know. I didn't make the connection. I didn't know what the like.
Yeah, because as soon as she
voices
says
were.
that
That's
that
crazy.
video does play of like all his past memories of the case. And
Yeah, and doesn't I'll move on for after this. I'm sorry, but the doctor, I think was his name, Dr. Swinehart, I think. Whoever the doctor is that kind of patches you up. You know, I'm seeing here that it says that he says he needed more time with quote Faith's body that you never get to see. It indicates something that is wrong with her body, and he can't seem to figure out what it is, or he's playing coy or just puzzled because he can't figure out why he can't complete a synopsis normally like everyone else. But yeah, that's pretty much what it says.
There's a lot of back and forth on Reddit talking about who's
there
who
is. I'm just looking at it on the Telltale page, and there's a lot. But
well, listen, I think we can talk about it a little bit more in the next episode, because we're going to be giving our actual rating of the game in the next episode, because this ran way too long.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our plan from the beginning, because we had a feeling it would. So, yeah, any other final thoughts about the game before you? I mean, we can always talk about it.
We'll show them next week.
We'll talk about it next
sounds
week.
Good.
Yeah,
what does that mean then for the podcast? Where are we now?
That means
we are
something.
going on to something else.
It's fantasy draft time.
Fantasy draft time. Oh my gosh! No one's listening anymore.
No, yeah, they're off in the abyss. This one should be pretty interesting. Yeah, this should be pretty interesting. So as we know, we do kind of round robin style. We have whoever picks first. You know, we do 2 picks. So for this, I thought it would be interesting. Now, there's a couple stipulations to this because I feel like it'd be too easy otherwise. But if you had the ability to create, harness, whatever, however you want to say that, if you could create an endless supply of one organic and one inorganic item, what are the two things you would pick? The stipulations are you can't create people for your organic item, can't be a person, and you can't create money for your inorganic item. Those are the two things that are kind of off the table.
Can we explain organic?
Organic, something living,
Okay.
something you could consider alive, I guess.
I'm a spooky ghost.
He is. So how's the going, John? What's the pick order?
Since it's you, it'd be Nathan, me, Andrew, Andrew, me, Nathan.
I'm pretty sure he makes that up every time. He's just not telling us, but
Well, it's different to you because apparently your guys' camera things are different, but you're here, Nathan's here, and I'm here. So if you're given the thing, it'd be next person would be Nathan,
Yeah,
then me, then Andrew, then me, then Nathan.
that's
gotcha.
fine.
I'm just going off the rules you set from the very beginning that you already forgot about, so I'm just iron.
All right,
That's fine.
so I can
makes sense.
create infinite amounts of an organic and an inorganic substance, but no money
Yep.
and no people.
You got it.
Well,
So the first one's going to be organic. So what's your?
You can do
organic?
either. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
what does it say about me that the first thing that came to my head was hot dogs?
I don't judge you.
That's not my
Glizzy
choice.
town.
My inorganic would probably be.
Wait, you already did one.
No, that
Are
wasn't
you
actually
going with
a
the hot
choice.
dog?
Oh no, he just said, "Why is it funny that the first thing that came to my mind is making all I
Okay.
can eat
The
glizzies?"
freaking
Okay.
glizzy.
That's
I mean,
right.
organic. Probably just potatoes. I'm gonna be boring and just say potatoes.
Okay.
Well, bad choice because Josh is already growing an unlimited supply of potatoes. Apparently,
Yeah, but
Wait,
mine's
did you
a
say
lot faster
you're
and easier.
inorganic?
true.
No, that's organic. That's like
Okay.
an organic.
Yeah, that would be
substance.
organic. It's
I
a
thought he
quote
said
within
Anytime we
inorganic.
need
yeah.
potatoes, I can just pop them up and we can cook them up and eat them. And it's like you never have to go to the store for them, but you can use them in anything. Like they're so versatile. And
They are.
it's boring, but I didn't have a lot of time to think, so my next one will be less
Hey.
boring. And
What about you, Josh?
inorganic?
Steak.
Oh, sorry.
My
Let
inorganic.
Josh go because. Oh, yeah. Okay. We don't.
I thought we were just doing one at
both.
a time.
Oh,
Well, no, because I'm sorry. So I said it that way because we always do 2 rounds, right?
so the second
So you
round
pick
is
one
gonna
of them
be-
for the second round is the
I
opposite
see.
of what
I
you
didn't
didn't pick.
realize.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my organic then.
Cool. What about you, Josh? Pick an organic or inorganic?
Organic steak.
Steak. All you can eat steak.
Steak. Anytime I want steak.
Nice.
The
Nice.
steak's expensive too, so just to have that one
It
call.
really is. It really is. I'll be different. I'll go inorganic first, just because it doesn't matter. I'm picking them back to back anyway. Inorganic. I would love to have an unlimited supply of like water. I know that's very basic, but water is like. You think potatoes are versatile, dog?
Water is life.
I don't have a water bill no more. I could just like water, and I'm just like taking a shower as long as I want. I can drink all this water. I can cook with it, whatever I need to do. Inorganic, or rather organic, I guess. Something that I would like to have an unlimited supply of. Well, your boy's diabetic, so I'm definitely going in the meat department. Meat or
I thought you
cheese.
were gonna say insulin.
All the insulin. No. Let's see. I would have to go with what's something that I like to eat, but it takes too long to prepare. I'm gonna go brisket, my guy, because I love me some brisket, but it just takes a long time to make good.
So is it raw or is it like already cooked?
I'm assuming it's already cooked,
Okay.
like to my liking. I assume that's what your steak was too. Like it's just
No,
medium
mine
rare
was
instant.
gonna be raw.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Because I mean, you could cut steak up for anything, stews, steak,
True.
steak bites.
So what's your next pick?
Inorganic is my next place to go. And
He's writing an
I'm
essay and
gonna-
trying to pad the wording.
I'm gonna say natural gas.
Okay. Okay. All the gas you need.
Just like Andrew, I can use it, and I could sell it too.
True. You could definitely make money off of it.
How far away can a product be from, like, what if part of a product started its life cycle as an organic, but it is no longer really organic in any way?
Well, just tell us what it is. We can judge. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna judge.
Because I'm not sure where you're going.
Unlimited supply of base set shadowless Charizards. From
How did that start as organic?
Pokemon
Yeah,
TCG.
How did that start as organic?
Because
he's
it's
saying
made
that
out of
they're real.
a specific type of cardstock, which is made out of like trees.
It's
Okay.
inorganic.
Yeah.
Because it's
I'd
trees
say it's
mixed
inorganic.
with. It's not alive. It's paper.
Yeah, it's not
got
alive anymore, but it
ink.
once was. The thing about it is, I would hold on to them, and I would just sell off one once in a while, like once a year, maybe once every few years, and those things are worth a stupid amount of money. Like,
Yeah,
especially
that's
the
not a bad
shadowless
idea
ones.
either.
Eventually, people would realize, like, the market would. You have to do it slowly, because otherwise, eventually, people would realize, like, where are these shadowless Charizards coming from, because they were rarer.
Or they
than
would
the
just
normal-
assume they're fakes. Yeah.
Well, there's ways to test without, like, destructively. There's non-destructive ways to test them, but you can always assume they're fakes. But the rip test is always good, but maybe not for those. I could just live off of that, and I could just live my life and do what I want to do. They're ridiculously expensive because of
I live my life.
their
and I do what I
limited
wanna
print
do.
run and whatnot.
Can we?
All right,
Can we
well,
caption that?
Shameless
What?
plugs, Nathan. Where can we be found?
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of My Mom Has Tourette's podcast. It's really great to have each and every one of you here. I'm sure you all listened to this straight 5-hour podcast late from the beginning to the end. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that you did. And I want to say, if you liked it, whatever you're watching it on, or listening, if you're listening on podcasting platforms and you're not watching this on YouTube, please give it a like, or a 5-star rating, or a thumbs up, or whatever they call it. And if you're on YouTube, also hit that little bell button. That's going to let you know, notify you of future uploads. So that's a thing, and you should do it. 4 stars minimum. If you have a reason to go less than 3 stars, or less than 4 stars, I suggest you find your podcasting entertainment somewhere else.
Hashtag we need someone with nuggets.
I don't think that
I like that.
we got a subscriber.
No,
recently.
I like what he said.
So we got a
Nice.
subscriber, I think, in the past week, and we got no
We need
nugget
somebody with
comments.
Nuggets.
I don't think we're gonna get that, and I think that we have to accept that and move on. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.